Hello, everyone, and welcome to Nuuli Forged. I'm Jared. I'm your dungeon master here, and with me are three of my glorious misfits. Hello, glorious misfits.
Oh,
Howdy, howdy, howdy.
Yo.
Unfortunately, Amber is unable to be here this evening, which means that Grig will be piloted by a fellow. And Spoot is still out doing a Spoot thing, which means that he will be returning shortly, though. I actually know when he's coming back, so mark your calendars.
Is he coming back soon enough to save us from a certain death in the next few hours?
Right.
No.
He pops in with a mass healing word while we're all unconscious.
Yes, that would be glorious. Indeed, no. But first off, big shout out, big thank you to Zemicus Dorlet, who gave us a follow last week. So, Zemicus Dorlet, thank you very much. You're awesome. We appreciate the follow. So let's
do this, really?
I can't. I literally cannot do that. That's like I just make a box. It's horrible. Yeah, I know you got skills, Tanner.
Yeah.
Okay, you're all better than me.
It's why I make a great monk.
I feel like I'm just doing this.
You and those nimble fingers.
What those hands do, though.
Hey. They do other things. Don't worry about it.
I saw this meme that was like about monks. It was like, why do you play monks? And it was a title poster of the Fantastic Beasts and where to find them. And it said fantastic hands and how to catch them.
Cute. But let's go around and do a quick round of intros. Introduce yourself, your characters. And I would like someone to roll me a D100, please. It can be anybody. Anybody can roll the D100.
I did it last week.
I'll do it. 65.
65, eh? All right. So I would like to know who you are, who your character is, all that jazz. And I would like to know what is your character's favorite food or beverage, and has it changed recently because of an exposure you've had?
It has or hasn't changed.
If it has changed, I would like to know why. If it has not changed, then fine. You can say the same answer. Let's start with Tanner.
Oh, Jesus.
Yeah.
Hi, I'm Tanner. I'm playing Adis, the Human Ranger. I mean, Adis likes whiskey, and that's not a secret. Although it might have changed to that mushroom liqueur whenever indulging is appropriate.
Oh, that's still in my liquor cabinet. One of these days.
Yeah, but it doesn't have like hints of acid in it.
Fair enough. All right, moving on up to Sarah.
Hell. My name is Sarah, and I play Olive, the half-orc moon druid. And Olive's favorite food is oh golly, I have no idea. Not the mushroom liqueur, that's for sure.
Food is a beverage.
It is a beverage.
Good
do you have beverage?
Yeah, it's either food or beverage. What your choice?
New and delicious good berries that can taste like whatever we want.
They don't have to taste like a pile of dirt.
We just learned how our magic works. It's amazing.
It only took us 9 levels to figure out how they work. Cool.
Listen, you could have been making good berries the whole time if you didn't like them.
All right, and then hopping over to Mike.
Me. My name is Mike. I play Defect, Warforged Barbarian. And I believe, Defect doesn't really eat or drink, doesn't care for that stuff. But if he has to choose, and then probably the mushroom liqueur. only because like usually when we have it, it signifies that we survived some encounter and we're celebrating. So
this is true.
Can actually relax.
Yeah.
This is fair.
All right.
Adis is high off his ass while drunk.
I'm pretty sure last time we did that, Olive dumped him in a rain barrel, so...
I wouldn't doubt it. I don't remember. Probably Adis doesn't either.
Well, all right. And I am Jared. I play everybody else and everything else here in the world of Nuuli. We are a homebrew D&D 5e stream. We play in the world of Nuuli, which came out of my brain, and therefore it is really messed up. So,
5e, I thought this was Pathfinder.
well, that explains a few things then, doesn't it? That's why you're so confused all the time.
Oh, no,
Hence
that's
the
other
Gary
things.
problem.
Right.
Well, all that being well and good and said, let's dive right into where we left off last week here on Nuuli Forged. Last time on Nuuli Forged, our heroes got the lowdown on the stolen staff from Jason Moonstone. I keep doing it. And have an idea.
Jason now.
His name is Jason. I'm committing to it. Last time on Nuuli Forged, our heroes got the lowdown of the staff stolen from Jason Mossstone and have an idea about who might be behind the theft and raid on the gnomish village. They
Is it
vow
Moonstone or Mossstone?
it is Mossstone.
Okay.
They vowed to return the staff should they succeed in their quest. And the next morning, set out into the Threatspire Mountains, utilizing Olive's spellcasting and wild shape abilities to transform herself and Defect into giant eagles, and fly the party deep into the Threatspires, while covering almost 70 miles in a single day, which was an impressive feat. Well done. Adis was contacted. Yeah. Adis was contacted by Seda Malor, their friend back in Fey Harbor, who asked if he could open a portal to his office, as Kalen, his husband, desired to speak with Adis. After they landed, Adis obliged and was surprised when Kalen stepped through the portal, allowing it to close behind him. After a few hours spent catching up with the party, Kalen pulled Adis aside and revealed that his community service in Fey Harbor was up, and that he was free to go wherever he wanted. And that he didn't care where that wherever was, so long as Adis would come home to him, and that home could be anywhere. He revealed that he felt he was not cut out for the dangerous life that Adis is currently choosing, mostly due to his slightly older age. But he felt that he would always be home waiting for him, and he asked Adis to remarry him, which was a very sweet moment. Adis accepted, and the two shared a tender moment together before returning to the group. As they settled in for the night, Adis and Kalen were on watch, and Adis heard a sad, sobbing sound in the distance. Investigating, he saw a couple humanoid figures crying about being lonely, and he called out to them from the shadows, but didn't get any answers, and saw that whatever they were, it wasn't human. Adis retreated and told Kalen to wake the others, just as one of the creatures came around the rock formation and into view, and shot a spiked arm out towards Adis. Battle ensued, and these creatures appeared to be able to propel their arms long distances and reel in their unsuspecting prey. Adis went down but was revived by Paduk, their sprite sidekick, and whatever these creatures are, they seem to be resistant to even the magical weapons held by the party. And we pick up at the top of initiative with Kalen, Olive, and Defect struggling in their grasps.
Yeah.
Somehow got
fun and
it.
exciting.
GTFO.
Indeed. And I will bring you over to the battle map.
Yay, battle map.
Here we go. Boom.
Oh crap! There we are.
Yeah. So, at the start of initiative, Kalen is up first. Kalen is currently grappled by these things. Cool. Kalen is going to try to get himself out of this situation because he is not a... he is capable of fighting within close range, but it's not where his strength lies. So he's going to attempt an acrobatics check to get out. Unfortunately, I don't think he makes it with a 12.
Oh no.
Nope, he does
Mike,
not.
You're controlling Paduk, right?
Yes. Yep.
All right, I'll take Greg.
Great.
Forgot to let's open that shit up.
I think you still should have control of Grig's token.
Yes.
So Kalen, unfortunately, his action is spent and used up, and he is stuck there. But he calls out to Adis. Adis, get somewhere safe. Get cover. And that brings us to Paduk, and Defect is on deck.
It's been a week, so let me see how everyone is doing health wise. I'll do a medicine check.
Yes, make a medicine check.
Oh, nat 1.
Unfortunately, in the dark and in the light from the torch, Paduk can't really get much of a sense of anything. The party is split amongst two things. He's not quite sure where to focus.
Yeah.
We're still breathing.
Yeah.
Everybody is up. That's what Paduk knows.
That's the most important part. So, with that in mind, let's see. He's been attacking the one that's up against Defect, so he'll continue that with Toll the Dead.
Okay.
Because that's what he can do.
All right. That is a wisdom saving throw.
Yeah.
The creature fails,
Right.
so it takes some damage. Takes 7 damage. Necrotic. Glorious. All right. Good job, Paduk. That brings us to Defect. Adis, you are on deck.
And Defect is going to do what he does best and swing his axe. I forget. Am I still grappled to this guy?
You are indeed grappled.
I'm trying, and I'm raging. And what's that other symbol? I have 3 symbols over me.
You do.
One's grappled, one's raging, one's.
Yep. One is, I think you have an effect on you.
Right. Was there an effect?
There was. I think you were. I think Paduk has cast something on you, but I forget what.
Guidance.
Oh, yes.
Oh, you're guided.
Yes, that's right.
Okay, thank you.
Which just
All right.
just ability checks.
Yeah. So it's still raging. He's going to wing his axe.
Don't
Go for
forget, Great Weapon Master.
Yeah, I wonder if I should do it or not. I forgot. Oh, God, it's been a week, and I forgot everything. I forgot their AC. Was it high? Was it low? Is it worth it?
Let's
find out. Let's find out. I'm gonna -5 plus 10. And screw it. Let's be reckless.
I think things are hitting them. They're just not doing anything.
19.
19 to hit.
A 19 will hit.
Yeah.
Woohoo!
Right. Excellent. 20 points of damage, but like Sarah said, it's not doing much, right?
Indeed, you landed a solid blow, Defect, but it didn't do nearly as much damage as you felt like it would.
Right. Let's try that again. Same thing. -5 plus 10.
All right.
Ooh.
Ooh.
Not gonna happen.
Unfortunately, an 8 will not hit.
At least you got the advantage on that one.
Right? Otherwise, I would have dropped my axe somewhere
Oh,
off the mountain.
also-
Okay. So,
18. Damn.
oh, I know that would have been really
Yeah.
good.
That would have been sexy.
That brings us to Adis Vagar.
All right. I would like to. How this rock face?
Yes.
Is it like diagonal or is it steep?
It's pretty steep. It's a 15-foot tall ascent, so it would take a climb check to get up there.
What the hell? I'll try.
Is it lower to the west? Or
Is it
steeper
lower to the west?
Or is it
It's
steeper to the west?
it's
Like if I
it's
moved
roughly
here.
it's roughly the same.
Okay. All right. Athletics?
Yep.
Or okay.
It's just a DC 12 athletics check.
Oh,
Oh, yeah, nice.
one-time athletics is actually nice to me.
Yeah, you are able to ascend to the top, no problem. It does take all your movement, but you get up to the top, no problem.
That's fine. All right. Sweet. Just within 30 feet.
That's
Planar
within their range,
warrior.
man.
Mhm.
What?
That's still within their range.
Yeah, I know, but it means I can use magic damage. Planar warrior as a bonus action.
Great.
So that's gonna be force. Is that the right one? Yeah. 18.
18 will hit.
All right, so that is 8 force damage plus
Someone in melee with both of them, so
plus another 3 force damage, and then sneak attack for another 6.
All right. Yeah, so your magical arrow materializes in the bow, fires out, and the force of the arrow and your conversion of it into that damage type affects it significantly, and it cries and screams, "I just want to be friends."
Significantly is like more than average, or like
No, like
as
it was a solid
normal?
hit. It was a solid hit and did what you felt such a hit would do.
Okay, all right. That's what I thought. Awesome. I was like, if piercing's not gonna work, maybe force. All right. Second pew. Lord, and of course I'm able to do damage, and I'm doing shit damage. A 20 for 5.
And it's still force damage because it's the whole turn, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Adis, you line up and fire again, and as you release the bow, it looks up towards you and right through its permanently crying eye, and it falls down dead.
Yes.
Oh man, nice.
Good job.
Thank you.
All right.
All right. So force magical damage. Magical. Not.
That
not
brings us to
magical
Olive.
piercing.
yep. That's to me.
Yep.
Cool.
I've got it. Thank you for the Deadeye emotes.
I would love to do a medicine check on the one grappling me.
Yeah,
to
go
see
for it.
how he's doing.
Go for it.
Oh, unfortunately, I'm grappled and I don't know shit.
Yeah, with a 9, you've never seen one of these before. You know it's got hurt a little bit, but it's hard to tell.
Yeah.
How hurt it is.
I believe that the thing I am concentrating on is call lightning.
Yes.
So I'm going to do that. I'm gonna every.
All right. He's going
Every
to
time I
make
go through
a
it, yeah.
dexterity saving throw. He succeeds on his dex save.
Well, bugger.
Or on its dex save.
That means he takes half damage, which is still 9, which is better than nothing.
Yeah. That's wonderful. Anything else on your turn?
Oh, I didn't actually cast that, which means that I can.
Yeah, you still have your action.
No, it's
a bonus action.
It's an action, but I have a bonus action. But
Oh, I
more
see.
importantly, it can be a spell because I didn't actually cast that on that turn. It's just calling it down.
Yep, if you have a bonus action spell, you could cast one.
I sure as hell do. I'm going to cast Healing Word upon myself so I can keep throwing lightning at this thing.
All right, go for it.
For 8.
Cool. Defect is no longer grappled because that thing is dead. That brings us to Greg.
Oh, that's to me.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Greg is going to come out of the tent. Can Greg see up there?
Just make a quick perception check. Just to see how much of what's going on Greg can see.
16.
Yeah, Greg sees one of those creatures up there with Olive and Kaelin, like, harpooned on its arms.
Are we
Okay.
up there or are we down there? I thought we were below Grig.
No, you are above.
It's up
We are
on a
above.
ledge.
Okay.
Yeah.
I thought we were down a ledge. We're up a
No,
ledge.
we're camped in the gully.
Okay. Geography.
Map shadings are sometimes tricky that way.
Hold on. I forget what the thing for Chomper is. Is that
It's a bonus action, I think, to bring out Chomper.
action to bring it into play?
Aha.
Is that worth it?
And then a bonus action every time it happens.
That's right.
Right. Would it have partial cover from spells?
It depends on the spell.
I think Greg did cast Hex on something. Was it this one?
Yes.
Alright.
That's right. She hexed.
Scorching Ray, I'm assuming it would have partial cover from.
Based on that perception check, no.
Okay.
It's standing on the edge, and Grig can see it in the light because they have
All
dark
right.
vision.
Sweet. Bonus action to move the Hex over.
Yep, you can totally do that.
And then we're going to cast a Scorching Ray at... Hold on. I keep opening the wrong character sheet. Yeah, second level. Down to what? 1. First beam, 15.
15 is a miss.
Second beam... God damn it, Greg.
A 12 also goes wide.
26?
That'll do it. That'll hit it. Yeah.
Alright. Jesus. So that's 7 fire damage, and then the arcane firearm is another d8. So another 1 fire damage.
Okay.
And then hex damage. 6.
Necrotic.
Nice. So that is a total of 14 damage to the creature. Yeah, all that damage seemed to hurt it just fine.
I swear to fucking God. Me
Between the
trying
lightning
to
and the
use magic
scorching ray.
can't hit.
Between the
What?
lightning and the scorching ray missing over here, both me and Caitlin must be blinded by now.
It's just like darkness, bright lights. Just...
Yeah, it's just it's blowing up the ledge all around you. It's just not hitting the thing.
Like being in the middle of a fireworks display.
But they didn't roll a natural one, so they didn't hit you either. So that's good.
Thanks, Greg.
You're welcome.
It is now the creature's turn. I need Olive and Kaylin to make wisdom saving throws.
At least that's your shtick. You can do that.
Woohoo!
All right, both of you succeed, taking only 4 psychic damage instead of 8, as pure isolation attempts to take over your minds. But Kaylin knows that he's got his husband nearby, so he's not worried about being alone. And Olive, you're with your friends. You got this. You got friends. You're not alone.
And I'm still concentrating.
Indeed. Cool. So, let's see. It's got 2 of you grappled already. So it's going to release...
It grows another arm.
It doesn't grow another arm, but I think it does attempt to jab. I think it attempts to jab... Oh, odds it's Olive, evens it's Kaylin. He attempts to jab Kaylin with the harpoon arm again. That's an 18, which does hit Kaylin's armor class for 23 points of damage to Kaylin.
Oh,
Ouch.
Yeah, good thing it wasn't. Good thing it wasn't at advantage because the other roll was a crit.
Oh, Jesus. That is some arm.
And then I need, again, Kaylin and Olive to make wisdom saving throws.
Oh yeah, feeling so wise.
All right. Olive succeeds. Kaylin, unfortunately, does not.
Hadouken.
That hurt him a lot. Ooh, Kalen takes 20 psychic damage, and
Okay.
Olive, you take 10 for a success.
Jesus.
Yeah. Yeah, you, Adis, you definitely hear Kalen cry out, and you swear you hear him do something he hasn't done in a long time, which is cry. Like, you hear sobs starting to ebb from him. And it is now his turn, and he's very concerned. He's going to try to get out of this once again.
Well, didn't it let him go? Or it didn't break its grapple?
No,
just,
it
like,
never broke
kinda-
the grapple. It just kind of like stabbed into him again with it.
Oh, okay.
Extra stabbing.
Yeah.
Right.
But this time with a 23, Kalen dexterously gets out of the grapple and books it, running 30 feet back to attempt to get behind this rock and maybe get a little bit of cover. But that is Kalen's turn. You definitely see him, like he's definitely injured, Adis. You can tell. You have ridiculous perception.
I mean, after those 2 hits, I assume so.
Yeah, they don't mess around. That
I'm
brings us
excited to hear he's still
to
conscious. frankly.
Paduke.
Honestly.
Yeah, hearing him scream and running back, the Duke will heal Kalen with some healing word.
Yeah, go for it.
Yeah. 7. Hopefully
All right.
that does a little
It's like
something.
taking an Advil.
Right?
It's better than 0.
Hey, it means he has to do
Better
7
than-
more damage to kill him. That's all.
What did
Nice
Jared?
insight.
What did you say last week? The only hit point that counts is the last one.
That's
That's
right.
the last one.
Yep.
Glorious. All right, that brings us to Defect.
Defect is going to run towards Olive here. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. And then this is an incline, right?
Yeah, it's a 10-foot
Yeah.
incline. You can make an athletics check to keep moving. Do you still have movement left, or are you out?
I do. Yeah, I have 10 feet of movement left.
Cool. So a DC 12 climb athletics check will get you up there and standing, but you will be out of movement.
Really?
Even
Really
with
an 8?
advantage.
Oh.
know. Man.
Yeah, like you just go and you grab onto a handhold, but you just weigh too much, and you end your turn down there. Unless you want to use movement, you still do have an action, so you could dash and try to get up there again.
But then you
No,
can't
thank
do
you.
anything.
Yeah, no thank you. I'll just stay down there.
Okay.
I know what it can do.
That brings us to Adis.
Rage at the rock.
Oh shoot! Will you lose your rage?
Yep, because you did not
that's
attack or take damage.
That's right, I would.
Although I will say this.
This is a
Paduke is still concentrating on guidance for you, which means you could roll a d4. If you roll a 2 or above, you would have made it up there.
Oh yeah.
That's right. I forgot all about that. All right. So D4.
No!
I tried to help
Roll
you.
one.
I tried to help you.
Oh man. All right. So
You
that means
literally
guidance-
had a
Ah.
25% chance of failure.
Yeah.
Well,
Oh wow.
I tried. F's in chat, everybody.
Thanks.
F's in chat. Thank you, Ives got it. Well, alrighty then. Moving on to Adis.
All right.
Guidance
With
is
my
coming.
last first level spell slot, I would like to cast Ensnaring Strike
Ooh.
and then make a shot. Yeah, I know. I've never fucking used this spell.
Do it.
Because I
Sounds
don't.
fancy.
Yeah, because it's 40 feet away. All right, first shot.
Let's do it.
18.
18 will hit.
All right, now it needs to make a DC 16 Strength saving throw.
Ooh, a strength save. Ooh, rolls a 19.
Fuck.
Okay. I feel like they're fairly strong, sadly.
Yeah. So and they're shooting arms, and maybe that was dexterous. All right. Well, I tried. Plus sneak attack, so that is 5. Gross.
Indeed.
So that's 14 magical piercing plus pot shot number 2 for another 7.
All right. Yeah, your arrows just don't seem to do as much damage without having some form of magical oomph behind them, unfortunately.
Yeah.
That brings us to
I was trying to
Olive.
restrain him.
All right. I'm gonna keep zapping them because I've still got the spell up. So.
Oh, did you make a con save for me?
Yeah, it was 11.
It was
when she
11.
took the 4.
Yeah.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
Yes, because you only took 4 points of damage.
Yeah.
Oh, but you didn't make one for the second one.
Oh, so sorry. I will do it now.
Yep,
It
you're
was a
fine.
13, so
Yep, you're fine. You're fine.
so he needs to make a dex save.
Let's see if he can do it.
Zap that
Ooh,
mofo.
yeah, this guy, even though he's got these long arms that he shoots off, not really that nimble. But yeah, he takes all 22 of that glorious lightning damage.
Beautiful.
And
Yay.
he cries and sobs, "Friends, don't do that.
Friends don't stab other friends either.
Friends give hugs."
And I'm gonna give myself another healing word because I would like to keep doing this. I didn't mean to do that twice though. I only wanted to do it once.
Well, it's okay. You take 5 healing damage either way. All
Cool.
right. That brings us now to Greg.
Greg is going to. We're gonna try the same thing again.
All right.
Determined to hit with the scorching ray.
Go for it.
Pew.
Oh, it's good to close her eyes.
13.
13 on the rocks next to it. 27 will for 4 fire damage.
And the fun thing is, the first one that misses did great damage.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
All right, so
Here
for
goes.
the first one that hits, gets an extra D8. Ooh,
Yeah.
Nice. It also gets the
hex
mhm.
for another 6. Ooh, max damage on both those.
Nice.
Yay.
18. And it takes
Last.
all of it.
Scorching ray, another 9,
Yeah, that'll hit.
plus another hex damage
Yep.
for another 2.
All right. Yeah, it takes all of that. Nice shots off of Greg that time. Good job.
Thanks. And then, I still have a bonus action.
Mhm.
Oh wait, I'm going to use Greg's Fury of the Small,
Yeah.
Ah.
which adds another 9 damage. Right?
Ooh hoo hoo.
Extra
Yeah.
damage. Yeah, up to it does my level of damage.
Yep. All right. Yeah. Extra hurdy.
And I don't think she has any. Yeah, no bonus actions.
All right.
All right.
All right. That brings us to our creatures, and I need Olive to make
Yep.
a wisdom saving throw, please.
I love wisdom saving throws.
Ooh. Hope you get
Did
it.
go? It didn't go. All right, try that again. Yeah,
There you go.
totally.
Nice. You take 8 psychic damage. Go ahead and make a con save for your spell. No problem
yeah.
whatsoever.
Feeling wise and constituted.
Yeah, the creature... Fair enough. The creature did not like getting fire blasted by the goblin, so the harpoon arm...
Clever.
Pew! That's a 22 to hit.
Ooh.
What's Greg's AC?
I think
I'm betting it's less than 22.
I think it's in the 14 or 15 range.
15. Damn it. Yeah.
15. All right. So Greg takes 21 piercing damage and is grappled by the harpoon arm.
Welcome to the party here on the ledge.
Yep.
Right.
And then I need both our Greg and Olive to make another wisdom saving throw, please.
Still feeling wise, still feeling constituted.
Come on, Greg. Yes!
All right.
All right.
Excellent.
Wait, so it's just the 21, you said?
It was 21 piercing damage.
Mhm.
And you both succeeded on the saving throw, so you take another 8 psychic damage. So both of you need to make con saves.
Did.
And Greg is pulled right up next to it. You both
damn.
you both
Hey,
succeed
Greg,
on the
come
con
on
saves. But yeah, you are now both right up next to the creature. Which brings us to Kaylin, who is going to line up. He's going to take a bonus action to line up and fire his first shot. He's hoping to hit a vital spot. So he gets to add a d10 to that, which makes him hit it for 11 piercing damage, which doesn't do as much as he would hope, but it did make it hit. And then he fires twice more. Pew, pew. A 23 will hit for another 11 damage.
But it's mundane, so it's scrappy.
Yep. Oof, and the third one is a natural 1, which is unfortunate. I need Defect, Greg, and Olive to roll a d20 for me.
Bugger.
All right, Olive with a 16, Defect with a 6, Greg with a 12. Defect, you feel a sudden gust of wind blow up, and it's right as Kaylin fires, and the arrow tumbles out of its path and hits the rock ledge, and then ponks down on you right in your shoulder for 3 points of piercing damage.
I'm just glad it's my shoulder and not something else.
Indeed.
Yeah, because I'm standing right in front.
What is the...
And you hear Kaylin go, "Shit, sorry."
What is
Sorry,
it from
Defect.
Grown-Up Arrow Roulette?
Yeah. Which brings us to Paduk.
Paduk's hearing everyone scream, so Paduk is going to, again, do a medicine check, see how everyone is doing.
Go for it, Paduk.
There it is.
Ooh.
There we go. That's much better. 24.
Right. Yeah, now that he's kind of able to focus in on one area, he can tell that Adis is severely hurt right next to him. Kaylin is still hurt. Defect's looking about half as tough as he normally would. Greg is about the same boat, and Olive is kind of hurt a little bit. Everybody's a little bit hurt, but Adis is definitely the worst off, but he's also not right up in it.
Exactly. So considering everyone's a little bit hurt, or half hurt, he'll cast Mass Healing Word.
Thanks, Paduk.
All right. Paduk grabs his symbol. Alana, make my friends feel better, please. I could really use them to be up in their health pools. And he gives everybody 4 points of healing.
That can't be right.
No.
That can't be right. Is there something else I add to this?
Nope.
Nope.
That's
It's 1d4 plus your modifier.
But it goes to everybody instead of just one person. So everybody goes up by 4, which is nice.
It's ridiculous. All right.
But he rolled really lousy.
He did roll a 1.
Yeah. That's also true. All right. Well, everyone gets +4.
All right.
That's pretty.
That brings us to Defect.
Yep. Defect is going to run up this incline here.
Great. DC
Gotta
12
do it.
athletics check. And you are not
Oh,
raging currently.
Also true. 12.
Ah,
You just managed to get up there. It uses 10 feet of your movement, and you are at the top of the rock.
Welcome to the party. You're on the ledge.
I realize I could have
Maybe,
made you get up there last turn. I'm sorry.
I may be huffing and puffing a little bit as I go up this incline.
Mm-hmm.
But
For an entity that doesn't need to breathe.
right.
That was a
Ledge
trial.
party.
Yeah. So I'll bonus activate rage. Can I sneak onto this piece of the ledge
Yeah, you can get there.
right there?
Yep.
Cool. And then I will. Well, actually, I'm sorry. Let me take that back.
What are you gonna do?
Flanking?
Let me. I'm wondering if I should free Grig and Olive or just attack it.
You can free us by killing it.
Mm-hmm.
I was gonna say, yeah. I'll just step in and swing my axe at it.
Okay.
I'll be reckless.
Okay.
Wait, can you get,
-5 +10.
do you have enough to get flanking with Olive so you don't have to be reckless?
Flanking with Olive is terrible. Flanking with Grig is not.
Oh, flanking.
Flanking with Olive puts him in the way.
I will say, Grig is not actually up on the ledge. The creature has harpooned Grig,
Ah.
and so Grig is actually dangling above the ledge because they are a small, light creature, and this thing is strong enough to do that.
Oh.
Does that mean that across from her is not
Right.
flanking?
No, it would not be.
Yeah.
And
That's all right. I already said it anyway. So
Yeah. Yeah, you can give yourself advantage
anyways.
anyway, so go for it.
Okay.
An 18 will hit. That
Oh.
would
Or 28.
that would be 28 damage. Now,
Damn.
Now you slice in with a strong throw, but you see that just the hides of these things are very, very tough. Yet you hit it in just the right spot and dig down into it, and the
Yes.
creature
All right.
crumples to the ground in a sobbing, "I just wanted friends." And it crumples down, releases Olive and Grig from the grasps. I need Grig to make a dexterity saving throw of a DC 12.
Oh no.
Because they're dangling in the air.
They are dangling in the air.
Yeah.
Oh.
Unfortunately, Grig goes tumbling down, taking 2 points of bludgeoning damage
Ouch.
as they fall about 12 feet into the bottom of the gorge. But with that, the creatures are defeated, and our friends, the night is still and quiet.
Thank God. I'm exhausted. Can we go to bed now?
Yeah. Bed sounds nice. How far into my watch were we?
They're about a couple hours.
So is it time to switch?
It could be.
Who has the health to switch?
Has it been 2 hours since Kaylin and I sat out?
Yeah, it's been
Okay.
2 hours.
All right. Grig, Defect, do you guys, one of you mind taking the next watch?
Not at all. You guys do mushy stuff. And
I'm
we
gonna
will-
go sleep.
All right. Before Olive goes to sleep, she will cast Cure Wounds on Defect at 2nd level,
Great.
so that he can go to the watch at least with some healing.
Much appreciated.
And then Olive is going to pass the hell out because she is really, really tired and spent all day flying.
Yeah.
Greg will cure wounds himself and then Defect as well. Step 1st level.
Okay. Cool.
What's Greg's intelligence? 4.
What is Greg's intelligence?
It's the modifier. Defect for 10.
Mm-hmm.
And Greg for another 9.
Great. Cool.
All right. Don't talk to strangers while you're watching.
Noted.
Yeah. Solid lesson.
And
Wonderful.
Olive is going to bed.
Fantastic. Yeah. So Olive, you go to bed, which is great. So Defect, you are staying up. Paduk flies in, gets some rest with you all. Nestles down back into his like way too large bedroll.
Yeah.
Kaylin gets into one of the bedrolls that is provided by the tent, right next to Adis. And just kind of holds your hand a little bit and makes sure that you're okay. Very concerned about you while ignoring himself entirely.
More concerned about him. If I had healing magic.
He shrugs it off and says, I've had worse. Believe it or not. You remember how you found me, right?
That's fair. I mean, I have had far worse as well, so I think we're doing all right. I'm gonna go to sleep now.
Mm-hmm. Glorious. Cool. So, Defect, are you keeping this torch lit for your watch, or are you going to snuff it?
No, I'll snuff it.
Cool. Go ahead. Make a perception check at disadvantage.
6.
It is a quiet evening. You
And
hear
then you hear a
nothing.
hug.
I need a hug. Cool. All right. Yeah. So that is what happens on your watch. Next up.
Greg.
Cool. Grig can go ahead and make a perception check at disadvantage.
There.
What'd you get?
15.
Nice.
You know what? I don't trust it. I don't trust it. I'm gonna use that inspiration thing. What is it called?
Flash of Genius?
Yes.
Okay.
So that'd be a 19.
Very cool. Yeah. With a 19, Grig, I will say, Grig does not detect any like sense of danger or anything like that. However, they do hear something kind of like, I would describe it as like a rustling, but like far away. Pardon me.
Okay.
Yeah.
As long as it's not close, that's fine.
It's not nearby.
Right.
It's like at the very edge of their hearing.
Greg will not go investigate.
Greg
Fair.
has learned from Adis.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
And their own touching of the cactus, touching of the bush.
Sure.
Yeah, Griggs had a few experiences that would educate them about stuff. I'll believe that. Cool. So, next up, but yeah, other than that, nothing really happens.
So, does that get us through the night?
Adis had first watch.
No, I had first
Oh,
watch.
right, you did have first watch. Then yes, that does bring about the dawn, which is fun and exciting for everybody concerned.
Yes.
Thank God.
Yes, so everybody awakens after a long rest. You sleep a little bit late because the battle did have a few effects, let's say.
Great.
But overall, not the worst night's sleep out in the middle of a windy, cold forest. Or
I don't know, there was a lot
not
of bad
forest,
hugging.
but not forest,
Mountain.
but mountain. Yeah.
There was a lot of bad hugging in the night. I don't know.
Fair. Great. So you do all wake up. Adis, Kalen, is under the assumption that you are sending him back to Fay Harbor this morning before you all continue on.
Yes.
Just checking.
Honey, it's been great seeing you, but we also don't have travel room flight-wise.
I did not intend to really fight anything. I brought my weapon just in case.
And now you know that you should always bring all of your weaponry when visiting us.
Well, you all tend to be really reckless, and I mean this in the best way. You're insane, but
We are in the Threatspire Mountains.
I know, honey, and I love you,
Also,
but you're
you
insane.
poked a thing.
Also, what?
Also, you poked a strange thing.
I didn't poke it. I spoke to it. I didn't know what it was. Also, I would like to inspect one of the bodies.
Yeah.
And if I can, like, nature or arcana, just to see what kind of creature it is, because it didn't show up on my
Yeah, make
action thing.
a nature check.
I
You
do
can
that.
actually do this at advantage.
In your favorite terrain.
Where is nature? Oh, there it is.
It's alphabetical.
Yeah.
Oh,
Oh,
great.
thank God, 27.
All right. With a 27, you begin inspecting this corpse in a variety of ways, these two things. And you realize that they are like amalgamations of other things. In that, not that they were like necessarily stitched together, but there are like parts that don't add up, but they're all working together. You realize that these things are definitely monstrosities.
Okay, I couldn't do an extra damage the whole damn time. Back.
Yeah.
I don't know if... Defect, could you hold one of these up while I open the portal? Maybe Sada's interested. If not, we can just kind of toss it in his office.
Before I go,
Good morning, Santa. Here's a thing.
That's
mean,
knowledge.
also like it's still a little early there too. The sun doesn't rise at the same place.
Good morning.
all the
We got
time.
you a dead thing for breakfast.
But anyway, Adis and I were talking last night, and he mentioned that you might want to use some of your wealth to purchase a home in Fay Harbor. He was specifically mentioning the Tower Manor.
With a big tree in the yard.
I mean, the tree can be done later. I'm pretty sure you know magic that can make it grow pretty fast.
Well, there are trees on the grounds, so
It's like a level 3 spell. It's called plant growth or something like that. You
Maybe.
accelerate the rate.
Yeah,
So you could technically
I can
take,
learn
like,
it.
right.
Yeah,
I'm not.
I can learn
It's not that. It's not a high level spell. You just need to
Yeah.
nap on it.
Yeah. If I took a nap, we could do it.
Yeah. So I mean, if we find a big seed of a plant, you could plant it and then just like grow it in like 5 minutes.
well,
Sure.
if you want me to look into Tower Manor, there are trees on the grounds already, like they exist there.
That'll do.
Is that what you want me to do for you?
I mean, if it's possible, if it's within, doesn't eat a huge amount of our funds, it'd be nice to have a home base.
Well, it
Maybe.
is a large estate, but it's also until very recently been part of a murder and conspiracy investigation and
So it
attempted
might be cheap.
kidnapping. And well, what I'm saying is the Council of Chairs may be willing to quote unquote, sort of offload it so they don't have to deal about it, especially if, as the individuals who facilitated the removal of Grey Claw, you were interested in it. I can't guarantee anything, but based on the size of the place, if it was brand new, undamaged, and didn't have this stain on it, it would probably be about 15,000 gold. But given who you are and the history of it, like, it probably will be cheaper than that.
We can just see what it is, discuss it as a group once we kind of have somewhat of a ballpark and of idea. Because that way, we wouldn't always have to teleport into Sada's office.
Well, I could take the blood vial back to our apartment.
True.
But sometimes it's useful to get to Seda.
Yeah.
I mean, if you are tired of imposing on him and worried about stepping into his office all the time, his office isn't far from the apartment anyway.
That's fair.
And
Yeah.
and it's not like anyone else is in the apartment but me when I'm home. So, and if
Right.
I'm not home, you can just go in.
It would just be nice to, have a big place where we can also store all of our things, because Greg carries a lot of stuff in that tiny bag.
Sure.
And we've got some people kicking around in various places that we should.
It would give like Relgan a home.
Oh yes.
And that the
Scorpion.
scorpion.
Yep. Relny is. They're still chatting away.
Yeah, I feel bad for Relgan, but
Relgan has improved in his demeanor significantly the past couple weeks, so
that's great. I mean, more people to interact with. I mean, being around people who can cast magic, they can chat a little bit more.
yeah. Also, you also kind of just threw that creature hide at me.
Yeah.
What is the purpose of that? It's kind of just still in a wheelbarrow. So.
Olive wanted armor because she can't wear metal.
Oh,
Yes.
I can ask around in Fay Harbor and see if there's an armor smith that could do something about that.
That would be
How-
awesome. But I
how
would
long has
imagine
it
they
been
would.
sitting in
I would imagine they would need my measurements to do that.
Well, I don't mean to be rude, but I am a trained warrior like Adis, and I think I could rough you in. Probably need you for the final measurements, but We'll just
I mean,
leave it a little loose, and then they can tighten it up with straps and stuff. So
I assume that if anything for that, until we come back, you can just use money from the account for that crafting.
at least to get it started, probably, yeah.
Yeah.
And certainly once all your money clears and you can access it, it'll be fine.
That's like we did find a giant statue from the Tidespell clan, which is where all
The-
this money came from.
The Tideswell regime?
Yes,
Yes.
Oh, wow.
that's when we killed the kind of mythological creature. We found statue in ruins, and so like, if we could have had that statue in an estate, that would have been kind of nice. I mean,
But without-
having the money is fantastic as well, but
I think the money is going to get you more and have a longer impact on.
I mean, it wasn't that attractive a statue, honestly.
I'm just saying we might find other things that could
Oh,
be
sure.
appealing.
Sure.
Well, so I'll look into the manor and the armor, and I should take the vial or leave the vial?
It's up to you. I mean, ask Seda how he's feeling and maybe make a judgment call on that one.
Okay. Well, I won't keep you. It should be dawn there by now. So, I mean, it took us a while to sort all this stuff out here and get you guys all set up. So, yeah.
All right, I will take out the keyblade and open up a portal.
All right. Latch blade. Open up into the office. Seda is not in the office at the current time. But you open it. He hugs you, kisses you goodbye, and says quietly in your ear, Adis, "Come home soon. We have a re-wedding to plan." And
Do any of us hear this?
if you, he was whispering it to his husband, so probably
okay.
not.
No.
I just think it's mushy stuff.
Yeah, he knows that Adis doesn't like too much public airing of things,
Yeah.
and you all are kindergartners about it. So
Yeah. Already, Greg and I are making like vomiting motions and
Yeah, pretty much.
um,
Do you think, Kaylin? Do you think anybody in the library would be interested in these things?
in what things?
The giant dead things.
The things with the stabby arms that attacked us last night.
I think they'd be interested in a recounting of it, but not the bodies.
Maybe not a decomposing corpse on their
But
desk
if I'm
when they
going to
arrive.
get this portal, I have to go. I love you very
Okay,
much.
fine.
Be safe. And he
You
squeezes
as
your
well.
hand and steps through. And about 5 seconds later, the portal shuts. And you are all alone again.
Greg, make notes of what these are. And Greg just starts talking in their book.
Yep. Yeah, their book is quite full of things.
Thank God it's a magical book that's probably limit.
Lots of things have
least with-
happened.
At least with Greg's detailed recounting of things.
Cool.
Shall we go?
Sure. Defect, there you go. There I
Eagling.
go. All right, we are eagles.
All right, you are eagles. Cool. I'm just
I make
looking
sure
at
Greg is
something
like
real quick.
extra burritoed up in their blanket before Defect picks them up.
Great.
Put out the blanket, Greg lays down, and you just like roll.
Like in a rug.
Yeah.
Right. So Olive, you're an eagle. You have Adis.
Yep.
And Defect is an eagle and has Greg.
Yep.
Yep.
Paduk is holding on to Adis.
Should make him like a little chair that fits on the shoulder.
Yeah.
Make sure he's inside
Actually,
your cloak so he doesn't get cold.
yeah. Paduk is having a great time with this. He thinks it's great. But you
Make like a
all
little chair with a seatbelt.
Eagles fly much faster than he does.
right. Cool. So away you go.
Just for shits.
Yeah.
Long strider on both of the eagles to increase it by another 10 for an hour.
Okay.
We are the fastest eagles around.
Fast as fuck, boy.
Yeah. Very cool.
We fly!
Great. Yeah. Cool. So you are flying like very quickly. I would like both Defect Eagle and Olive Eagle to make dexterity checks. Or actually, it's high winds, so strength checks, I guess. You're flying, and I don't know. Yeah, I think strength to buff the. Well, you're giant eagles, so you're probably used to it. So dexterity.
All right. Both are a +3 for the eagle, so
Great.
in case you don't have an eagle stat block handy.
I
Mike.
don't. So let's do a D20, add a 3 later. 11.
Shit. Greg, flash of genius, if that's possible.
Sure.
So another 4.
Okay.
All
So
right.
if you, they'd be 15?
Yeah, so 15 and 16.
Cool. Yeah, with a 15 and a 16, you are able to fight the winds, no problem. And you see the ground as like a blur. Adis and Greg and Paduk are like holding on for dear life and are like can't really see anything with the wind rushing past the eyes. But yeah, still, it's going along. After about an hour, as you are flying through this glorious, windy, open sky, both of you make a perception check as eagles, please.
It's a +8 on perception.
Great.
And don't you have advantage with like sight or something like that?
Yes. That is also true. Advantage on perception checks that involve sight.
Mhm.
Not that that's going to help Olive at all, as she is feeling particularly unperceptive today.
Great.
Yeah, help defense.
Yeah.
7.
So, Defect, you see it first. And what you see is another bird flying right towards you guys.
Oh, fuck that.
And Olive, you see it too. And it's coming in fast, and as it gets closer and closer, it's bigger than you.
Cool. Do
And
we see anywhere to land?
you are over rocky, craggy terrain at the moment. So potentially, but it is beelining for you. It sees two potential snacks, and it's coming in hot.
Evasive action.
Wow, right? Evasive action
Can
indeed.
we attack at
Barrel
all?
rolls.
So those of you who are in the claws of the eagles, any melee attacks are made at disadvantage, and any actually you can't. Your arms are being. I don't know if your arms are. Well, I could say they've grasped you by the waist. So melee attacks would be at disadvantage. Arrows, I think, are disadvantaged because of the wind up here.
Mm-hmm.
Spells would not be at disadvantage.
Okay.
But this thing is coming
and
in
our
hot.
talons are full.
At least one of them is, yeah.
I have a plan.
But you've got 2 legs, so you know your
All right,
talon
so we each have
attacks. would still be viable.
All right, we still have a free hand.
Yeah. But it comes in faster than you can escape it. It seems to be much quicker as it is much larger. And it's coming in hot. So I'm going to need everyone to roll initiative.
Sweet.
Shit. There you go.
Eagle gets +3. As an eagle using our own
+3.
stats.
As an eagle. Because it is the eagle's body.
The eagle gets +3 to initiative, but apparently Olive doesn't have a clue what the fuck's going on and is just fucking off.
You're just winding your feathers,
This is
having
fun.
a ball until you just get like fucking wrecked by this.
Yeah.
I mean, you should probably try to dodge as much as you can because you're holding on to defect.
No, I'm holding on to you.
Yeah, but you're concentrating on defect and Greg.
I'm also concentrating on defect. Yes.
Oh, so yeah, yes.
Yeah.
Oh, that's
yeah.
right. You are
Yeah.
concentrating as well.
Yeah. Olive gets hit, and we're all going down.
Give me a roll for Paduke as well.
Oh, yes. I'm sorry. Duke.
Oh, good.
Duke with nat 1.
Duke goes first.
Nice. Good job for Paduke.
Wait.
Did defect roll?
He did.
Oh, it just went right straight to you.
Yeah.
Yeah, sorry. I do.
It was a whispered roll.
Ooh,
My bad, guys.
You think you're so fancy.
so fancy.
But Adis, before we get much farther, I would like you to make a nature check at advantage for me.
Okay. Fuck, where's my... There it is. I can't D&D. 27.
Based on the size of this creature, you believe it to be a rock, which you know
Rocks can't fly.
which you know are massive predatory monstrosity birds.
Mm-hmm.
And apparently they can fly now.
Indeed so. Let me bring you on over.
Oh, goody. Ooh, it's blue.
It is indeed a very large creature. It is huge. In fact, you can see, like, if you look at the token, you see a few people falling from its grasps.
Oh, those are people. Those are not us.
No, but those are people.
Okay, cool. And it has a blue head.
It does
Awesome.
indeed have a blue head.
Cool.
But yeah. So, that being said, first up to do anything is Paduke, as Paduke is holding on to the inside of Adis's hood or cloak in some way.
Right.
Now that we are in
9.
the thing, eagles have 26 hit points, but I get the extra 20, yeah?
Yeah, everybody was
Because
around you when you...
Everyone was around me when I did that.
Yep.
Unfortunately, their armor class defect is 13.
Yeah, and you guys are a good 60 feet in the air right now. Probably you're probably more like 100 feet in the air, but I'm going to be nice and say you're 60 feet in the air. Because you were trying to, like, scan the ground, so you came in a little bit.
Uh-huh.
But it didn't matter to this creature. It is flying right at you very quickly. So Paduke is up first with defect on deck.
Paduke is freaking out. And Paduke doesn't have that much that he can do. Oops, didn't mean to do that. Sorry. Ignore.
Okay. What you gonna do, Paduke?
I'm figuring it out. Hold on. Oh, it could do that, Sacred Flame, or it can pull the dead. Because no one's hurt right now.
What's it
Everything
gonna
else
do?
is healing.
I would
Um,
assume it's dexterous.
Yeah, so
Seems
I'm gonna go with
likely.
pull the dead, target unhurt.
All right.
We'll just do that. There we go. All right, so
Hopefully-
DC 15 Wisdom save.
It fails. It rolls a natural 1.
All right.
Does it fall out of the sky?
No.
I was hoping.
But it does take damage. As you hear this, like, it's weird. Paduke's Toll the Dead doesn't sound like a big gong. It sounds like a wind chime. But it like but it spirals in and just like blasts the creature's eardrums, and it caws loudly. And that brings us to Defect.
Right. So let me just write this down. You said
I copy pasted it up above. Your
All right,
attack
then.
choices.
And you should be able to find the D&D on D&D Beyond. You should be able to see a giant
just
eagle.
follow that. Yeah, just follow that. So armor class is 13, hit points 26.
Yeah.
26.
And I got 2 attacks.
You get 2 attacks.
Yep.
You get a beak and a talon,
All right.
and they're both a +5 to hit with a 5-foot range. And you're carrying Grig.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay. Okay, let's go in there. All right, so Defect will fly towards it. 5, 10, 15, 20. What's my flying speed? 40?
80.
80.
90.
Oh, yeah, I bet.
90 because
Long
we've been hasted or
That's
strided.
Right. Yep.
Well, Long Strider has faded. It only lasted for the first hour.
Well, if Longstrider faded, then we would have had to land because
Yeah.
Polymorph is an hour.
Yep. If Longstride is faded, we are on the ground.
Oh, then okay, then it's shortly before. Sorry, I missed that.
Okay.
All right. Beak attack.
Yeah, go for it. A 16 will hit for 7 points of piercing damage.
All right. Talon attack. Go. 15.
A 15 just manages to scratch it for 12 points of slashing damage. You're getting up in
Alright.
it, Defect.
And that's my turn. This is a weird, well, maybe a good question.
Go for it.
Are there reactions while fighting in the sky? Like if I
Yes.
were to leave as threatened, there is.
I mean, there's like reactions are just the rule of thumb.
Okay, so it doesn't matter. Really, like
the eagle
flying
has,
around.
unless you have
Yeah.
flyby, which some flying creatures do.
Eagle is not one of them.
No.
Okay, then no.
Okay.
That brings us to Grig with Adis on deck.
All right.
Grig is now probably screaming the whole way, going, "Why are you going closer?"
I'll say Greg is presumably screaming their head off, and also
Yeah.
really close to this
Greg.
creature. Greg
Wait,
is like, reach out and touch somebody close to this creature.
I have contingency plans that I prepared for. So this is fine. I just gotta decide what I want to do first. If I am casting, which doesn't use a spell slot, Hex from the ring, does that count as using a spell, or does it count as an item use?
You cast the spell from the ring.
So is it using my spell slot still, or is it?
It doesn't.
like-
It doesn't use your spell slot, but it is considered your bonus action cast of a spell.
Okay, so I can't then action cast a spell. So I just wasn't sure if it was like an item interaction versus an actual spell cast.
No, because you use your bonus action to cast it from the ring.
Right. Okay. All right. Awesome. So I will hit it with bonus action Hex.
Glorious.
Then I can't decide if I want the cannon or...
Indeed, it is swirling black energy swirl around this bird in the air.
Wait, what's Greg's modifier? Spell attack is 8. Fuck it. Firebolt.
Go for it.
$25.
That will hit.
Greg is not fucking around.
Nah.
I love
Plus
it.
another 4 from the arcane firearm, plus
Hex.
Hex. So that is
So 22 damage with a cantrip. Glorious. Wonderful. I love it. Yeah, this bird just takes
Nice,
it.
man.
I can't do a bird noise, but you get what I'm going. Cool. Wonderful. That brings us to Adis. So, Adis, you are currently, what's this distance? About 60 feet away from this thing? Oh, no, you're less than 60 feet.
Pretty close.
Because you are a trained archer and less than 60 feet away, you would not have disadvantage on arrow shots.
awesome. Alright. I'm just curious, since this is like gargantuan,
Yeah, it
I'm
is
assuming,
massive.
'cause that's
Yeah, it's a 4x4 creature. It's a gargantuan-sized creature.
okay. And with Defect and Grego, does this sneak attack count or no?
Yeah. Defect is all up in it, so he is adjacent to the creature for sneak attack considerations.
Awesome. Since I can't do anything, actually, why not Hunter's Mark? So I'll use my free Hunter's Mark,
Yeah.
and it's not
Go
close
for it.
enough to Planar Warrior. So pew. That's a lot of dice. Fuck. I'm assuming a 12 doesn't hit.
A 12, unfortunately, it just like pinks off a feather and gets caught and doesn't actually pierce the hide of the creature underneath the feathers.
But a 28
28 will absolutely do it.
for 18 damage.
Yeah. Nice. And Hunter's Mark is already in that?
Yes.
Okay,
It
great.
should be. Hold on. Yeah, it's a sneak attack, so my 2d6 plus another d6.
Got it. All right. Cool. Glorious. Well done, Adis. It is now the rock's turn. And it screeches and attacks.
Oh wait, is this a monstrosity?
It is, yes. You realize that with your nature check.
Oh right. So I think it's only 2 damage. They do extra damage against my favorite enemies.
Oh, great.
Yeah, 2.
All right, another 2 damage.
Big numbers.
Yeah, every little bit helps.
Absolutely.
So yes, this creature is going to go after the giant eagle that attacked it. That is a 17 to hit with its beak for
Yep.
24 piercing damage.
Oh.
Okay. Still flying.
Only just barely.
And it attempts to rake you with its talons for 20 with a 23 to hit.
Okay.
For 23 slashing damage.
Defect's down.
So how much hit points did the eagle have left?
I'm sorry. The last hit was for how many?
So you took 24 in the first
right,
hit.
and then second was 23. You said.
Yes.
So 21 left over.
So defect, you take 21 damage to yourself, and you
All right.
pop back into being defect. And you and Greg fall 60 feet immediately.
guess there's no off chance of grabbing onto the rock as a reaction.
Guess what?
You know what? You can.
Feather fall.
Oh, okay, I will allow a dexterity, acrobatics check or a dexterity check to try to grab onto the rock. It's going to use its DC, which is a 19. So if you roll a 19 on a dexterity check, you can grab onto the rock. Grig can use their reaction to also cast Featherfall.
I'm assuming
do
Defect
this.
can't grab Grig and
No.
right.
No, when they pop, it's just they're too far away. They're out of reach.
All right, here goes nothing. 16.
All right, yeah. So Defect and Grig begin to fall immediately.
I'm gonna use Feather Fall, and it lasts for a minute, and it's not concentration.
Yep. Yeah. So
I'm gonna hit everybody.
all right.
'Cause
So
it's all creatures you can see within 60 feet.
all right. So your entire party is featherfalled as you two begin slowly falling down.
Does that impact my flying speed?
No, it's just
No,
if
it's
you
just-
lose control.
Okay.
And it turns off. Cool. So you have popped back into regular Defect.
How cool would it have
Rock.
been if I held onto the rock and just like rode it? just
Just like
it would have been so awesome.
All right. So you two are currently falling. What's a good falling safely thing? Is there a feather? There's not a feather, but there's.
Symbol?
Yeah, I'm just going
Wings?
to denote this. We're going to give you this little guy here. That's what we're going to do. We're going to give you this cute little Nimbus thing.
Yeah, wing. Yeah.
So yeah, it attacks you and you begin floating down because you fall at like half speed or 10 feet or something like that per
it's
round.
60 feet, I think. Hold on, let me.
Well, that's the range of casting, right?
60
Yeah.
feet per round, but you take no fall damage.
All right. So then, Defect and Grig, you hit the ground, but you take no damage, which is amazing. Considering you're lucky I was nice and let you fall from 60 feet. Cool.
All right. So Defect and Grig
Uh,
are on the ground now.
Yeah.
They
3
are.
point Hero's Landing.
Yep. So that
Iron
is
Man.
what that creature did, and then it flies right towards the other one. And that is its turn.
Cool.
Which brings us now to Olive.
Olive is going to use the dodge action to get the fuck out of there.
Disengage.
Disengage, dodge,
Okay.
whatever the hell you call it.
Dodge is not moving, but all their attacks have disadvantage.
Yeah.
Disengage.
Oh yeah,
is
no.
DFO.
Disengage. Disengage is a thing I would like to do. I would like to disengage.
Okay.
And I don't know quite how to do this in 3D, but I'm diving and flying and getting as far from that creature and as close to where they have landed as reasonable.
Your flying speed is 80 as a...
80.
Yeah, you can land right next to him.
Great.
Is that your
What-
plan?
What is the surface they're on?
It is rocky terrain. Like there's no trees. It's just rocky, barren terrain.
Is there
Actually, this is a good question. Roll me a d20, Olive.
who? Me?
Yeah,
Olive?
you asked the question. You do it.
I do. I rolled a 20.
Yeah, it seems to be a fairly sturdy patch of just barren open rock.
Great. I am getting the hell out of the sky.
All right. So you...
Actually, do I mean that? I'm definitely disengaging and flying. I'm going to just fly. I'm going to fly 90 feet away from the rock. I'm
Staying...
not going to land.
Okay, so you're staying in the air, flying 90 feet away.
Yeah. which I
With
think is
me.
off the map. Yes.
Yeah, don't bother driving off the map because it flies much faster than you, and it's just going to catch up to you.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, but just note that you're 90 feet away.
Cool.
Which brings us to Paduke.
And I'm doing it in like a
Sure,
Evasive maneuvers.
taking evasive maneuvers.
sure. Actually, I need Paduke and Adis to make Constitution saving throws.
Oh, goddammit, thin air.
It is thin air and it is cold air, so.
Oh, thank God.
With an 18, Adis, you are fine.
I can do thin and cold air. I cannot do the desert.
Thin and cold, fine. Sand, terrible.
Takes after me.
And
No.
unfortunately, Paduke hurls his little breakfast all over Adis's hood. And he's like,
Just got that dry clean.
Paduke is
oh,
tiny. It's like this little like.
I'm so sorry.
Dropping size.
I'm sorry, Adis.
He's a flying creature. He should have his air legs.
Well, I'm not in control of this one. If I was in control, it'd be fine. I'm really sorry, Adis. But it is Paduke's turn.
Paduke will cast Aid.
Great.
On Olive, Adis, and I guess himself.
All right.
What does that do?
Everyone's hit point maximum and current hit points increases by 5, except I'm going to do it at level 3.
Oh, nice. So 15.
Without...
Or 10. 10.
Yep. 10, sorry.
Is that are those temporary hit points or those are
No, they are real hit points.
they're real hit points?
Yes.
Great.
No, it's
Your
good for
hit
8
point
hours.
your hit point maximum is increased by 10 for 8 hours.
Great. I am now the buffest eagle in the world.
Quite probably. Good turn by Paduke. Defect, you are on the ground and you see Olive Eagle a good 150 feet away from you, holding your two friends, and the flying other creature seemingly desiring to chase them down.
You're right. So, I mean, Defect can't really do anything then.
I'd say it's still 60 feet away from you if you wanted to, like, throw something at it. If you have anything that could do that.
Let me see if I have something to throw at it. Because considering where we are, I don't want to throw it and then lose it completely. Inventory. What can I throw? I will throw.
Got anything?
I don't really have anything to throw. No.
All right.
I guess
Then
I'll just. If it ever does decide to fly down to us, I'll ready an action to swing my axe at it.
Cool. That brings us to Greg.
Who's also sitting on the ground with
Yes,
Defect.
Greg is
Yes.
also next to.
I just don't know in what way I want to fuck this bird up. I'm still trying to decide.
Yeah, it definitely didn't like what you did to it last time.
Now I have a question.
Yeah, go for it.
Magic missile.
Yep.
Does each individual missile activate hex? Because it's multiple different hits.
Yes. It's just like an
Magic
Eldritch
missile.
Blast.
Magic missile level 3, so I think that's 5 darts.
Uh-huh. They all hit.
Yep.
Roll a D1 or a D4 and a D6 for each missile.
Was it 5d4 plus 5?
Yep, 5d4 plus 5 plus 5d6.
So that's 19.
Oof. 19 force damage.
Plus,
With another 19 necrotic.
Nice.
Damn.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fury of the Small. We're going to add another 9 to that.
Okay. Yeah,
Fuck this bird.
it
Yeah.
hurts it. Yeah, cool.
That was good.
That brings us to Adis. Adis, you're 90 feet away from the bird, the monstrosity thing.
I will.
And in a maneuvering,
In invasive patterns.
yeah.
Yeah.
I can understand you. I can't talk to you, but I can understand things you shout at me.
I'll just. I'm looking at Adis's spell sheet, like I actually update his spell sheet on here. Alright, D&D Beyond. Did not long rest on D&D Beyond. Since I am still, do I know Greg Featherfalled me?
I would say you are observant enough to see that Grig cast something, and it seemed to encompass all of you.
Okay.
And then you saw them not get hurt when they landed on the ground.
Fuck it. Misty Step, 30 feet closer to the bird.
Okay. You are 60 feet away and immediately begin falling, so you fall to the ground immediately. You are on the ground 60 feet away from the bird.
Alright. Now
And
I'm just...
60 feet from Grig and Defect.
Yep.
Because we flew 90 feet since they fell.
Yep.
Wait, I'm confused. We flew up 90 feet, or we flew
No.
like at an angle?
We flew away 90 feet.
Okay, that's fine. I like mountains. I'd like to shoot the bird.
Yeah, go for it.
I just gotta take off my modify. Oh wait, no, I have it hunter's marked,
Yeah, I'm over here somewhere.
Yep, you do.
so I can just take off sneak attack. Pew!
Oh, no, wait. Paduk is with you.
No, Paduk does not travel with the Misty Step, so Paduk is now just...
Oh.
He doesn't count as something I'm wearing.
No, he's a sentient, sapient creature.
Shit. Well,
You're just wearing his breakfast, not him.
it's too late now. He can fly. He's fine.
He can fly.
Right.
He's just like... immediately
I
does a little
doubt
falter
this-
thing.
I don't know if this eagle can like really see Paduk that well. He is like very small.
You don't know. I mean, you could make a check to see if you know, but...
I'm assuming a 13 does not
A
hit.
13 will not hit, unfortunately.
Second shot. Hello. There we go. But a 20
A 20 will absolutely hit.
for 10 damage.
Yeah, it takes it. Boom. It is now the creature's turn. It
Mhm.
turns...
Wait, did I shout Olive Land?
You could have.
Shit. That was part of my... I meant to... Shit.
I mean, I'm fine saying you shouted Olive Land.
Okay.
Like, that's fine. Cool. So the creature turns and dive bombs towards Grig because Grig keeps hurting it a lot and it doesn't like it.
That's
Oh.
fair.
And it can tell like what Grig is and that Grig is the problem.
I think this bird's attitude is the problem.
Yeah, you're
This
not wrong.
bird has a pretty big attitude problem.
Yeah. The audacity.
Yeah. So it
The
dive bombs at Grig. That is a 28 to hit Grig.
Greg's AC is a 40.
Grig takes 29 piercing damage.
Oh!
Is Greg and I, are we standing next to each other
I
when this
assume so.
happens? Like,
Uh,
so would I get an offer? Or would I get my attack? Or
I'll let you take your attack, sure. It just dived bomb at you. You hadn't really done anything to it yet.
56. You said 29.
29.
Okay, so just a straight the wing of my axe.
Yep.
A 16 to hit.
A
Or
16
15.
will hit. I need Greg to make a Constitution saving throw of a DC 14.
Come on, Greg. Yes.
All right.
Featherfall remains.
No, Featherfall's not concentration.
Oh, it's not.
Hex.
Oh, Hex remains, which is good. Even better. Cool. In retaliation of that, it swipes its talons out to Defect. That is a 21 to hit Defect.
Yep.
For 19 slashing damage.
Okay.
And you are grappled by it.
Uh-oh.
And it immediately flies 60 feet back into the air.
You're still Featherfall, so it's fine.
Okay.
It's gonna go to like drop you and be an ass, and then you're just like you're just like floating
Just
down.
floating
Just like,
down.
fuck you.
Yep. That brings us to Olive.
Cool. Now that I'm not supporting the entire party in the air, I want to turn around and head back at that thing and make a couple of attacks.
Cool. Yeah, go for it. That will hit.
And
A natural 20 will absolutely hit.
Yes.
We're gonna crit that with the beak, and we'll also do. Oh, talons are not doing so good.
Yeah, you like ping it right near the wing joint and do some pretty good damage to it with your beak. But the claws just get. You try to take out the wing, and the feathers are too dense and heavy.
Got some feathers still in my.
Indeed. But yeah, good job. Cool. That brings us to Paduk, who is 90 feet away, like fluttering. What's he gonna do?
I mean, he has the 40 foot flying speed. So.
He does. He can get within 20 feet if he wants to.
Of the rock? Not that close.
Or the ground.
But
Yeah.
or to the ground.
Or down. Well, we're all clustered around that rock now, so.
Right. But I was left. Paduk was left.
Over there.
60 feet above ground?
Yeah, Paduk is
90 feet, yeah.
like 90 feet away and 60 feet up.
60 feet up, 90 feet away. And let me just check the distance for Healing Word. 60 feet.
60 feet.
All right. Yeah, so Paduk will go 40 feet closer to the rock
Okay.
and heal Defect, seeing as he got picked up and hurt. So he'll cast Healing Word.
Defect got rocked, one would say.
One
He did.
could
Yeah,
say
rock
that.
hard. All right, a little something. 5
right.
points healing damage.
Cool. That brings us to Defect.
All right.
Smash.
So I'm grappled,
You are.
right?
You are.
Flying.
And flying, quote unquote. I will activate Rage.
Okay.
I will be reckless,
Yep.
and I'm just gonna swing my axe at it.
Cool.
Do you know what
Pocket
Defect
and
wants
roll.
for dinner? Chicken legs.
20 will hit.
Well, the
The
first
first
one
one
was
was
the 24,
Yes,
Or
that
8,
Although the 20 is
that will
better.
also hit.
and then 20 will 17. So 25 points of damage.
Yep. Yeah. It hits. It's good. Cool.
Cool. Yeah.
That brings us to Greg, who saw their friend get taken 60 feet in the air by this thing.
So, it's only 60 feet away?
Yep.
Then do it again.
All right.
Fuck this bird.
Magic missiles.
Yes.
Go for it.
Fuck this bird in particular.
Just honestly. 18.
Nice.
Glorious.
Oh, wait. Did I
And
do it
hex.
last time? I forgot. Did I?
Heck.
And your hex damage.
Plus, I forgot Arcane Firearm last time. Hold on. Plus 1d8. Another 8.
Okay.
And Hex.
Plus another 17.
Woo. So that would be 26, 36, 43.
Fuck this bird.
Yeah. Damn. Cool. Good
We're
job,
having
Greg.
Greg has
Tonight,
turned
boys.
into like the
That-
Rock Slayer.
That brings us to Adis.
All right.
Who's standing on the ground by himself over there?
Yeah. But I have a bow and arrow, and this is a bird.
Mm-hmm.
Bonus action. What's that rogue thing?
Aim.
Aim.
Steady aim. Yes. 26.
That will hit.
Fucking me and rolling ones on damage. Like, Jesus Christ.
It hit,
Oh wait,
but it's a scratch.
and defects within range because he's grappled.
Yep. So
And
sneak
Olive
attack.
within- Another one.
Ouch.
Aw, I'm sorry.
Oh,
Yeah.
damn.
It's fine. Everything's fine. 12.
A 12 will not hit, unfortunately.
That damage would have been nicer.
I'm sorry.
Right.
No, it's fine. That dice I need to go make a sacrifice. I'll be right back.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
It is now the creature's turn. It is going to drop defect because it thinks it's going to hurt you by doing so.
Can I try to grab onto it again?
19 dexterity check.
21, baby.
Ah!
Yeah, you grab onto it.
Not flying away from me.
I'm not done.
You grab onto it. It swings its beak down to smack you for that's a 19 to hit for 27 piercing damage, reduced to 13.
15.
And then it grabs at you with its other talon that you are not holding on to. That's a 30.
Mhm.
So you take 17 reduced to 8 slashing damage, and you are grappled by it again. And then it flies 120 feet away.
By defect.
Oh, man. Oh, that's fun. Okay.
I got nothing now.
Yeah. It is it is 120 feet gone. All of it's your turn. You would have gotten an opportunity attack as it like flew away.
I will take that opportunity attack
Go
because
for it.
I can.
Yeah.
Oh.
Unfortunately, you miss.
Damn.
But yeah, the creature flies 120 feet away. All of it's your turn.
I will follow it, which puts me within 30 feet of it.
Cool.
I
Wait,
have a-
can you dash? Action dash?
I can action. I assume I could action dash,
Mhm.
but that doesn't. Then I'm just close to. Yeah, sure. I will.
Are you going to like try to pass it, or are you just keeping up to it?
I'm gonna try to pass it
Okay.
by like 30 feet. I don't want to dash and be in its melee range,
Okay.
but I'm
So-
gonna dash past it like 30 feet.
All right. Cool. It is Paduk's turn. Everything is far away from him.
Yeah, so Paduk will come down closer to where Greg is.
Okay.
I'm just spending a healing word on Greg.
Great.
Why not?
That brings us to Defect, who is in the clutches of this rock.
Right. Again, I'll be reckless, and I'll swing my axe at it.
Yep.
The thing,
26.
what is it?
26 will hit.
10 points of damage.
All right.
Great Weapon Master?
Too late.
Yeah.
I mean, at least for like the next one.
Yeah. I'll -5
No.
+10
Okay,
for my next attack.
go for it.
Yes. That's a
Natural
nat 20.
natural 20 will hit for 30 points
30.
of damage.
Yeah.
Oh.
Cool. Nice. That is Grig's turn.
Wait. Because I hit it with a nat 20, do I get a?
Oh, right, because of your
Is that
Great
a
Weapon Master. Yeah.
So that's blah, blah, blah.
You just use the
Another
24.
D12.
One that's right.
Yeah.
Oh.
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 3. All right.
Oh, right, you deal extra damage because you're a barbarian when you crit, right?
Yeah.
That is enough to kill it.
Yeah. Get out. Yeah. That was
Yeah,
it.
it had 2 hit points left.
Yes.
All right.
I'm
So
gonna-
the creature begins to
Oh.
plummet to the ground,
And you are still grappled.
and you are grappled by it. So it pulls you with it.
Yikes.
You go crashing into the ground. Featherfall will not save you from this.
Could Greg
Within
see
that
that
time
feather fall the
frame,
bird?
within that time
that
frame,
work?
is there a chance?
It's
to,
180
break the
feet.
grapple?
It's 180 feet away from Grig. What's the range on Featherfall?
60.
So no.
Okay.
Within the time frame that I'm free falling with this bird. Is there
It
a
happens
chance to break the
immediately.
grapple?
It happens immediately.
Do I get a reaction to try to grab him?
No, because you're 30 feet away.
All right.
So you
Okay,
are.
I made my bed. Let's do it. I made my bed.
So normally, if you normally fall, you take a d6 per 10 feet, which would be 6 d6, right? However,
Right.
you are falling, being dragged down by a gargantuan-sized creature. So I'm going to up this to a d10 damage. But you're also raging. So it's going to be 6d10 damage. And we will see how it does. So that would be 41 points of damage. But you are raging, so you can take 20 points of bludgeoning damage as you crash into the ground with this thing weighted upon you. And you, like, burrow a trench through the rock and get up and stand over the corpse of your defeated flying enemy. And that's where we're going to take a break.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Yes. That was awesome. That was so
Fuck
cool.
this bird.
Oh man.
That was fantastic. So we're going to take a short little 5-minute break. We will be right back. Thank you, I've got it, for everything you do in chat here. And thank you all for watching with us. We'll be back in 5 minutes. So we'll pick up there as Defect stumbles out of a trench.
Crash.
A crash site. It's going to be amazing. All right, we'll be right back. Hello, everyone. We are
Ready?
back. Thank you for
Oh, I should put my earbuds
sticking
back in.
around with us. Indeed, it would be very helpful. Uh,
Mike,
There
your
it is.
axe, you did not.
Yeah.
Rock and roll, I
Right.
hate
Rock
you.
and roll.
Ives got it. Resubscribing for 11 months. I've got it. Thank you so much.
Yes.
Almost a year. Wow.
Wow.
Very cool. Thank you very much.
Thanks,
I've
I've
got
got
it.
it.
Glorious. Glorious. Yeah, so we pick up with Defect rising from underneath the corpse of this rock that he just crashed into the ground with. A little dinged up, but not too bad.
Oh, Dusty.
Yeah.
Olive's gonna land next to him,
Easily done.
and while I've got talons and beak, shred a little bit of the rock just because I can.
Okay. It's pretty tough, but like you do some vindictive damage to it.
Yank out
Fuck
some
this
feathers.
bird. Fuck this bird.
Yank out
As
a talon full of feathers.
as a
Okay, the feather
souvenir-
is like the size of the eagle.
And
Put that in the building.
as
I get
a
a 16 strength
souvenir,
as
could
an
I
eagle.
grab one of the talons?
It's enormous.
It is a gargantuan creature. Like its wingspan is close to 80 or 100 feet. Its talons are almost 6 feet tall.
Okay. As tall as me, so I could. All right. No, I see where you got it. All right.
Still yanking out a couple of feathers.
Defect is a little bit sad, but he'll let it go. Ask for the lift and join the rest of the party.
Okay, so she's going to have to transform you into a giant eagle again.
Yeah, I can't pick you up.
That's right, because you can't pick me up.
Right.
Mhm.
So after I'm going to use my beak to yank a couple of feathers out.
Yeah, like it takes you some time to do it. But yeah,
I get time.
you can
As eagles,
it takes you a good 20
Olive and I
minutes,
will
but
give each other a high five.
okay.
Then I'm going to have to drop my wild shape. Defect, you need to be healed before I repolymorph you.
Do I?
How do you?
I don't know, how you feeling?
Well, not that bad, actually. I mean, a little banged up. As a squirt of blood comes out.
Cool.
Could be worse. Has been worse.
Have some cure wounds.
Would you
17
say
healing.
you haven't hit rock bottom yet?
Nah.
No, that was good. I appreciate that. That was excellent.
Adis, you take
I
2
approve.
psychic damage.
Fuck, I'm unconscious.
I'm gonna smack Defect and give him 17 healing damage in the
17.
process.
All right.
Great.
And then I shall repolymorph him. And wild shape myself. And then we should go collect our friends.
Yep. I mean, in this amount of time, your friends could have walked over.
Okay, that's fine.
All right.
This saves some time.
Because you spent
Right.
all this time futzing with the corpse of the creature to pull out the feathers.
Great. Cool. So we're gonna, do the
Yeah.
feathers fit in the bag of holding?
No. Can't open them that wide.
But they're long and narrow.
Yeah, you
If they're
think that they are easily, like, the quillion of the feather, like the bone part, is easily, like, 3 feet around.
Cool. In that case, I'm going to hand one to Defect to carry in his off talon, and I'm going to carry one in mine.
What
So
are we
I've got,
gonna do with this?
I've got
It's gonna
Adis in one talon and a giant feather in the other.
Cool.
This isn't very aerodynamic.
Yeah,
Just slow
your
it
speed
down.
is now reduced to 60. You can do
Can't
it.
always
Let it
have
go.
trophies.
Let it go.
Okay, fine. I will fly up my 60 feet and drop it. Drop the feather.
It kind of it's still got mass to it, so it still falls pretty quickly.
I
Yeah.
I know you don't
And
like
like
the bird. Are
it,
we
it,
going?
it was a
Yes.
it was a heavy thing, but it was also a very strong creature.
Yeah, okay, fine. I'm still going to enjoy watching the feather swirl down, and then we'll continue
What
to
is it?
fly.
What's the plant? The whirligig? Or whatever that thing that
Yeah.
falls from
Yeah.
the tree?
Great. So off you fly yet again. Adis, go ahead, make a survival, or Olive can make a survival check with you, or one of you can have advantage, or you can both make one. It's up to you.
I have a plus 12.
You should. I have a +8 as the eagle, so go ahead. 29.
Glorious. You unerringly pick like a due westerly kind of direction, heading over these mountains. At a pretty good clip.
That survival check's pretty rock solid.
Yeah. This is going to be a thing now, isn't it?
Yep.
All night, baby.
I don't
All
know.
night.
I'm
Cool.
like out of puns. That's all I can think of.
Great.
Great.
Cool. Cool. As you fly during this hour, Adis, you notice, like below you, like a valley of statues
Nope.
that appear to be like human shaped.
Nope.
And I would like you to make a perception check.
Where's... Oh, there it is. Thank God.
Okay. Yeah.
Just for shits. 17.
With a 17, you see that there's quite a few of them. They're just like standing around in different poses, and they look human, like human statues.
No.
Okay, it's fine. I'm just telling you what you see.
That's some Medusa shit.
Yeah,
I'm not.
we ain't going there.
Yeah,
No.
nothing good can possibly come of stone people in the mountains.
One other thing you notice, Adis, with a 17, and only because you got a 17, because it was the DC. Their garb is reminiscent of something familiar to you.
Oh, bugger.
Oh no, you had to throw that in. You had to throw that in.
I'm just telling you, you don't have to go to him. Adis is the only one who notices. He can always go back later.
Olive is oblivious and is going to keep on flying.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fuck. How high are we from these?
I mean, you've been keeping fairly low to keep track of, or to keep out of the harshest of winds and whatnot. And you've previously stated like just above tree line, but there's no trees here. So I'll leave it open to your interpretation, to whatever you tell me.
Because I would say not land, but maybe like if we could just like swoop in a little closer just so I can like maybe get something else. So I don't know how high would Olive be flying?
Probably 50 or 60 feet up, but I can swoop down.
Olive, do you mind swooping down like 30 feet?
I will swoop to within 20 feet of these statues and no closer.
Okay. Yeah,
Right.
getting closer to the Matus, you pick up on details that you couldn't see previously. All of these statues are wearing. They're not wearing Lycosian garb, but they are wearing very similar styled garb. And they bear fox imagery upon them, which, like the Lycian tribe was the fox tribe of your nation.
Right. All right, I'm gonna remember that one. I don't trust things. We've already dealt with enough today.
You dealt with one thing today.
Yeah, a giant fucking bird. Now I see stone statues.
You triumphed
Last time
over the
we saw
bird.
We did.
Just saying.
We're still flying. I've done my low pass, and we are climbing back up.
You
to
can just
50
take
feet or
note
so.
that essentially, Adis, you found statues of you're pretty sure at this glance that you've been able to grab that they are like Lycian statues.
Okay. Yeah, just like next time we land for like a short rest or something, I'll take out the map and try to do like a rough estimate of where they were.
Yeah, you can do that. And so you continue flying on. Whoosh, away you go.
There's probably some really cool shit there, but
Yeah, eventually you feel the hour begin to tug at your polymorph spell, Olive.
Find a spot to land.
Yep, you do so.
All right, friends, this is your potty break. I'm taking a nap.
Okay. So great. An hour goes by.
Olive takes a short rest.
Cool.
I mark on a map where this might be.
Yeah.
Or the statues.
So go ahead, actually. Make an intelligence check with the map, because you're not proficient in like map making or tools or anything, are you?
No.
Okay.
I think that was Spook.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not helpful. He's not here.
Yeah.
So just intelligence check?
Yeah, just to figure out if you can get the right spot on the map. What did you get?
Approximate.
You got a 13? Yeah, you got a rough area in. You know.
There's no "we are here" dot on your map.
And you're good in mountains, so I'd say yeah, you can do this pretty easily. Cool. So you
I'm
are
just
all
curious, looking at the map and like how far we've traveled thus far, like where would you put us?
So I would say that looking at the map, figuring all that out,
Gee, there's only 4 feet over these mountains. That's amazing.
Yeah, right.
No.
Times 10,000.
Cool. So, I would say that the giant eagles can fly pretty quickly. So, but you probably don't. But not like you can't fly that like constantly. So like there's some give and take there.
Sure.
Just because nothing can go its max speed at all times forever. But
For an hour at a time, though, it's not like we're.
no, you cover a good clip. I would say that looking at the map, you figure it would take about 5 days if you made good time to cross the map on foot. And you covered 2 of those on your first day yesterday. So you're probably in the middle of the mountains now.
It's like another day and a half, maybe.
Maybe if everything keeps
Because if we
going
did,
the way
like-
it's going.
Yeah. Like, probably done like a good chunk now, minus the like minute that we're dealing with the other bird.
Sure.
Just for shits, the when we leave this time, I'll long strider us again.
Cool.
And it doesn't add too much, but hey.
Sure.
But every little bit helps.
Is only Olive taking a short rest, or are you all engaging in short rest activities?
Greg would like to short rest because they got pecked.
Yeah, definitely short rest as well.
Yeah, you can do that. So given your altitude, just to kind of give you what is going on up in this realm that you are in, it is cold, it is cloudy and windy. You have the cold weather gear, so that doesn't really bother you. But like, there's also like mist, like just cloud vapor and like mist on the ground.
They're misty mountains.
Indeed, they are misty mountains. They are indeed. Cool.
Sorry, I was just winging it on that one.
No, it's all good. It's all good.
Another bird pun. Just why not?
Mm-hmm.
Jared's gonna kill me off now.
No. But yeah, you do see like some mist like roil over and everything. Adis, you're not taking a short rest?
No, I didn't take any damage, so I'd just say that I'm
Then
then
just give me a perception check as you're watching around.
I'm gonna need to wear my glasses more.
I thought you had an excellent perception.
Adis does. Tanner has astigmatism. 19.
19, very cool.
It's the blessing of being part Asian. I got the astigmatism.
Yeah, so it's cloudy up here. There's not much like direct sunlight or anything like that. So it's kind of dim and cloudy, and there's all this mist and cloud leavings, cloud essence, whatever.
Cloud droppings.
Yeah, we'll call it that. But Adis, you do notice like some of the mist is like different, and it's moving towards you.
Dislike.
I would like to. How close is it?
It's a good 30 feet away from you.
Planar warrior, cue the mist. If I can do that,
Yeah, you can do that.
because that's force damage. I don't care. That's mountain range. Fuck this place. I hate it here.
You're throwing arrows at mist.
Yes. Listen, I have infinite arrows. It's moving at me.
Yeah,
All I see is Stephen King movies.
yeah, go for it.
Do you want me to roll for mist?
Yeah, fire at the mist. Go for it.
Okay.
What kind of an AC do you suppose mist has?
Who
I
knows?
don't know. 14.
Okay, that will hit mist.
Awesome. Does it magically force the mist at all? Moving at me. I don't trust anything anymore.
Okay. Yeah, it takes damage, I guess, as mist is forced apart. And Adis, as you launch your arrow at this,
Here it comes.
at this mist, you see a flash of red through the part of the mist that you fired at, and then you see another flash of red and another flash of red. You see 5 flashes of red, and 5 areas of mist begin to converge on your party. And I need everyone to roll initiative.
Here we go again.
Did we at least get to rest?
Nope.
Oh shit! I already rolled the health.
Yeah,
Whatever.
me too.
Yep.
Well, undo it.
14.
I didn't say you had completed your rest yet.
Yeah.
I forgot. You don't let us rest.
I let you rest all the time.
I am pushing it with these Threatspire Mountains.
It's almost like you're in a dangerous area. Cool. I need an olive turn.
Sarah, do you know anything that like
650.
blows away,
Do I know what?
blows away mist?
I've got a wall of fire.
Defect, did you roll for me?
Damn
Olive
it.
rolled. I just failed to select my token.
Oh
What
shit!
the-
I didn't mean to post that. Sorry.
Oops.
I meant to
sorry.
hit the eye.
Perfect. Nat 20.
Glorious.
I'm running
And
into the mist.
and-
Well, see, you needed a feather of exotic
and-
origin for that. If only we'd held on to the rock.
and do
rock
Paduk as
feathers.
well, please. Do Paduk as well.
Yes.
No, because I have an arcane focus. I don't need components.
21 for Duke.
Nice.
Although if we had the feather, Defect could probably just like
Fan it away.
fan away the mist.
Cool. Great. Good job. Wow, high initiative rolls all around for the most part.
Except for Greg.
Except for Greg.
Yep.
But that's okay. They're a little beaked out. So I will bring you over to the map.
Cool.
Dun dun dun. So yeah, you've been resting in this past, and these clouds of mist here, with these
Those are some
shocks
angry
of
looking.
red, are
Yes.
coming at you.
You laughed at me for shooting the mist.
It's mist.
Now we're getting fucking attacked by the mist.
Maybe if you hadn't shot it, it would have left us alone.
It was already creeping at us.
Adis did notice it creeping towards you.
Cool.
Cool. So, the mist goes first, actually, which is unusual.
Wow.
With
It
two
beat out
natural
my nat
20s?
20.
They also rolled a natural 20 on their initiative roll.
Does Mist
Yeah,
have higher
big
dexterity than both of us?
Yeah.
Apparently it does.
Dexterous mist.
Extremely dexterous Mist.
Yep.
All right.
Yeah, the mist.
One could say they didn't want a missed opportunity.
Oh, there it is.
I love it.
Yeah.
You guys should be enjoying this more.
So they just kind of swarm over you all. Let's see. Yeah, the mist actually.
Am I currently embedded in rock?
No, you're on top of
Yeah.
the rock.
Okay.
But actually, the mist. It just kind of goes right into your space where you are. So it covers each of you, Adis, Defect, and Olive. I need Adis and Defect to make 2 Constitution saving throws, and I need Olive to make 1.
Ew.
Cool. Oh no. Oh no.
Damn. Oh, damn. So
All right.
15 and a nat 1.
Yeah. So Olive,
Yeah.
Olive, you take 12 necrotic damage. I'm sorry. No, you rolled a 13.
I did.
So nothing happens to you,
Great.
which is great.
What refreshing mist.
Yeah,
One could say it missed its attack.
it did. Oh, God in hell. Cool. Adis, you did not pass on one of them. So you take 9 necrotic damage.
Okay.
And your hit point maximum is reduced by 9.
Oh.
Those were my hit points anyway, so that's fine.
Yep.
Oh,
That
that's
was all the aid.
Defect, you also fail once.
Is it possible Flash of Genius? It's a reaction against saving throws and ability checks.
Too much time has passed at this point.
Well, you didn't get to him yet, so what? Like,
Okay, sure. Yeah, you
were
can flash
you
of
were going down the line.
Yeah, that's fair. You can flash of genius defect. Sure.
Right, do I get the aid? Does Olive get the aid HP, even though it was the eagle that got it before?
Yeah.
Okay, that's exciting.
I mean the 10 you have the 10 extra hit points available, but you haven't healed up from damage yet. Oh no, you didn't take any damage, so you're fine.
I didn't take any damage.
Yeah, so yeah, you get it. So yeah, go ahead, roll flash of genius for.
It's an extra 4.
Oh, which would have given him a 13.
9.
So yeah, okay, great. So yeah, that is what happens. Defect, it is now your turn.
Right.
The mist is in the same like space as you, like it's just enveloping you.
Gotcha.
Means I can't burn it.
Defect will
That's
activate
my idea,
rage.
was to burn it.
And
It's mist. Let's
guess
evaporate it.
He'll just swing at the mist. That sounds really silly to say out loud, but that's what he does. He rages and swings at the mist.
Okay.
Let's see. So a 13 to hit for 14 points of damage.
Okay. It's hard to tell if it hits the mist or not, especially because it's like all around you.
Until someone comes up with a better plan, I'm just going to do it again. So I'll swing my axe again. 17 for 8 points of damage.
Yeah, I mean, you see this mist is like flashing red. So it's hard to tell, but you're swiping at the mist, so hopefully it's doing something.
Maybe helicoptering would actually be useful in this situation.
That brings us to Paduk with Olive on deck.
Cool.
So what is Paduk going to do?
Paduk. Well, no one got the short rest, so he'll cast. Where is it? Mass healing word. Yep. And everyone will get 4 points of healing.
All right, everybody
Wow,
gets
one.
4 points.
Yeah.
Woohoo!
Yeah, sorry guys.
I mean, hey.
Cool. Next up, Olive with Adis on deck.
Hey, Defect, what's your axe made of?
It's metal.
My axe.
With a wooden handle?
Hold on. Where's my axe? There it is.
You would still damage him.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a red and silver streaked metal.
All of it is.
That's all it says
If
here.
if you were
Okay.
if you're going to heat the metal of his axe, like just the head
would
of it,
hurt him.
it would hurt him
Yeah.
regardless. It's like the
All right.
spell is not that delicate.
Cool. Blah blah blah. Cool.
Lightning.
You are also covered by this mist.
Yep. Yeah. I mean, that's pretty much what I can do is lightning it. But hey, if it's misty, does that count as is that a stormy condition?
It's overcast and cloudy and misty, but there's not a storm raging.
All right. Well, this is what I can do that's not going to impact my ability to polymorph when this is over. So, let's call some lightning.
All right. So you're like the mist is in your space. Are you calling it on you yourself?
No. Is
So-
there? Is it just in everyone's space?
Yes.
Like if I hit it over here, I'm not going to hit any.
No.
I
So
won't hit that mist.
no, on the map I've just left it out because otherwise it would just be stacked on top of people and be very difficult to like do anything or adjust hit points.
Gotcha.
But the mist
You
is the mist isn't two mists are encompassing Adis and two are encompassing Defect and one is encompassing you.
Gotcha. There is no mist that is not touching us.
Correct.
All right, then I'm not going to cast it. Then I'm not going to call in a damn lightning
Okay.
because that's not useful.
Shit. It could have been. Except I'm an idiot.
Except we're in the middle of it.
Well, if you cast it, can you hold the actual attack until some of the mist freeze up, Jared? Or do you like when you cast, you have to immediately?
On consecutive turns you could, but on the first turn, you have to like you cast it and it happens.
Okay.
Right. But I could waste it.
You could hold the casting of it, but if
I could also have it strike nothing.
you could, but
No,
like you could hold the casting of it to like if
Mhm.
mist becomes free of your friends or if your friends move out of the mist. But if they don't, then the spell slot is wasted.
Because I would say, Adis doesn't like being in front with everything.
Here's a thought. Can I move out of the mist and then
You could do that, yeah.
move out of my cloud of mist and then lightning it?
You don't see any reason why not.
I don't like the way that's phrased, but sure, I'm going to move out of the mist. Boop! I'm out of the mist.
Yeah,
Now I am.
you move out of the mist.
I've moved out of the mist, and now I am calling lightning upon the mist I have just moved out of.
Yeah, go for it.
It needs
Cool.
to make the mist needs to make a dexterity saving throw.
Yeah, it's mist. It gets blasted by lightning. The lightning doesn't do as much to the mist as you think it would.
So there is something there. I mean, you still hit it.
Still hit it.
Yeah, like these clouds of mist, like they have red pulsing through them.
Sure. One of them just took 19 lightning.
Maybe.
Did it though?
Did it?
It's hard to know with mist.
It is hard to know
It's
it's
the
mist.
greatest mystery out there right now.
Wah, wah,
All right.
wah.
That brings us
Thank
to
you.
Adis with Grig on deck.
That's you.
I know. I just thought of another pun.
Well, it's a missed opportunity now.
Yep.
Hey.
I already made that one. How high is this rock behind me?
It's easily scalable. It's just like one of those rocks that's like, got like levels to it.
Okay. Since it didn't look like they tried to hit all of it all. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Can I do that?
Yeah, you move out of the red pulsing mist without any issue.
Planar warrior.
Mm-hmm.
and I want to shoot the mist.
Go for it.
If I'm shooting right there where I was, and they're technically right there, do I still get sneak attack because defect is right there?
Yeah.
Assuming it hits.
Sure.
So is the fun part. $24
Okay.
for 19 force damage.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you fire the arrow into the mist. It's hard to tell. Like, there's red flashes.
Mm-hmm.
What does hurt mist look like?
It's hard to know.
I don't know. I'm a bit foggy on the details.
Yeah.
20 for 5 force damage?
Yeah, the clouds of mist flash red again.
Do I hear any sort of speaking or anything?
Nope, it's just mist.
I'm just gonna wing it. Primordial. Why are you attacking us?
Okay, there does not seem to be any kind of response.
That's not their turn.
Nope. All right, that brings us to Greg.
How much time has passed?
In the short rest.
No, like since Greg last cast Hex. Is it still active, or would I need to reactivate it? It's an hour.
Yeah, it's gone. You'd have to reactivate it.
We flew for an hour.
You flew for an hour, and
Okay.
yeah.
All right, I will.
Defect, you are on deck-ish.
Hex. And then action.
Who are you hexing? So
I don't know. The mist.
the mist, that is where Adis once was.
One of them, yes. Just willy nilly. Does it grab hold?
Cool. Roll a D100 for me.
Fuck. $70?
Okay. You see, or Greg sees, a black swirling energies around the mist.
Now black and red and swirly.
Yeah, because I think it's a little bit of an informational spell. Yeah, because I know it, like, as long as you're concentrating on it, you know where the creature is.
Mhm.
So I'm assuming if it takes hold, it is
It's there.
some sort of
Yeah.
creature. And then when Ada shot it with the force arrow, does it look like it did what a normal force arrow does?
It's hard to tell with mist.
You know what? Flamethrower cannon. We've never used that.
Are you gonna pop out
Pull out Chomper.
Chomper?
Yeah,
All right, great.
yeah, we are.
Do it.
All right,
But it doesn't attack the first turn, right?
negative.
All
Just
right.
appears.
All right, so Chomper is out. Bonk. There it is. All right.
Sorry, Mike. You're gonna be the guinea pig.
It is now the mist's
The test.
turn. One mist follows the olive and swirls over you. One follows Adis and swirls over you. One moves by and encompasses Greg. So I need Olive, Greg, and Adis to make one Constitution saving throw, and I need Defect to make 2.
Greg
Ooh,
with a
and-
natural 20.
Glorious.
10 and 18 for defect.
All right.
Great. 20 and a 1. Wow, look at that.
Defect. You take 11 points of necrotic damage, and your maximum hit points are reduced by 11.
Forever.
Interesting. 11 and reduced by 11. Okay.
Yep. Cool. That is what happens. Everybody else saved. So, yep. That brings us. Yep.
Since it ended its turn in my square,
Yes.
I would like to use the Scout Rogue reaction to run 15 feet away from it without provoking opportunity attack.
Sure. You can do that.
I forgot I had that so many times.
There you go.
I could have used it.
Cool.
That would have been great against the hugging monsters.
That brings us to defect.
Great. Since no one brought up anything of value to note about fighting these things, he'll just continue swinging his axe.
Mm-hmm. Go for it.
At himself,
So,
apparently.
like Ada said, like a little helicopter spin.
Helicopter.
Yeah.
Oops, sorry, not that one. This one here. So 24 to hit for 14 points of damage.
Okay.
Not
And
Matter
another-
Space, rock and roll.
Yeah, the rock and roll. Another 24 for 17. So total of I can't math right now. 31.
Okay.
Math is hard.
It is.
Yeah.
One of the, you see that the mist becomes lighter, and is seemingly gone.
Oh, all right. Free action. Defect says, everyone do a helicopter move.
Great. I love it. That brings us to Paduk.
Paduk is seeing everyone enveloped by mist, so he's going to move back a little bit. And I guess he'll target one of these guys. He'll target this one right here next to Grig.
So remember that,
And
that
we'll-
they are in the
Oh, that's
same
right. They're
square.
They are in the same square, correct.
So Paduk can still target, but I'm going to need just a spellcasting ability check. So for him, it'd be a wisdom check to see if he can pick out the right target in that square.
Got it. A 20.
Yeah,
Okay.
he's pretty confident he can pick it out.
Okay. With that knowledge in mind, he will cast Sacred Flame at it.
Ooh, okay.
Ooh.
Ooh. All right. DC 15 deck save for 12 points of damage.
Very nice. Yeah, cool. Yeah,
Getting some
the-
positive feedback here.
the-
All right. This is
the mist lights up with this radiant flame energy and pulses red very quickly.
Doesn't like
good. Like in a
that.
video game?
Mm-hmm.
Like,
Just like a video game.
The health bar is low.
right, yeah. It's blinking red.
All right, that brings us
Which mist
to
is
Olive.
that? Was that the mist on me or the mist on?
Greg.
Oh,
mist
on
on
Greg.
Cool. Olive, having watched Defect do this with his axe and heard him shout, is going to do a similar thing with her quarterstaff, which is magical.
Shillelagh.
Yep. Yeah, you swirl it around. The mist is still there.
Yeah.
Who knows if you did anything?
God.
Adis, that brings us
I
to
hate
you.
all of this.
This may shock you to just learn that Olive is not optimized for fighting mist at the moment.
No. I don't know who really is.
Fanboys.
Planar war. Yeah, right.
Ah,
I cast the gust cantrip. Just kidding. Planar warrior.
yeah,
Pew pew.
go for it. Make your attack roll.
Double 12s.
12. You fire into the mist. It's hard to tell. It's just mist and red flashiness. It's hard to tell.
All right. Well, I'm gonna leave planar warrior on because I don't know what you're telling me.
That's fair.
So do whatever with the 24 that you do with mist.
Okay. So you fire into the mist again. It flashes, and that would have been 9 points of damage.
Yes.
And it's all force, right?
Yeah.
The mist kind of disperses and is carried away on the wind.
Mm.
That brings us to Greg.
Well, I'm already dead set on this because I think it'd be funny. Greg is going to step back
Okay.
to here with Chomper.
Yep.
I'm assuming the mist is on defect, and it's a 15-foot cone for
Mhm.
Chomper.
Yeah.
And Greg is just gonna hold Chomper out and scream, and it's gonna be a flamethrower. So
Amazing.
it's a dex save. Fuck, open. There we go.
Yeah, it'll get the one that Greg was in and the one on defect. So yeah.
Defect.
And defect.
And defect. Yes.
DC 13.
Okay. Cool.
I had to make that too, right?
You do.
Yeah.
All right.
Woohoo!
14.
Nice. Go
Yeah,
ahead.
so
Roll that
half.
damage. Roll
It's
damage.
3d8 fire damage.
Nice.
13.
Cool. Very cool.
Did the mist evaporate?
It did not. But you know what? Go ahead and so defect, you would have taken 6 of that.
6 damage. Alright.
Go ahead and roll your because they're concentrating on hex, so roll the hex as well for the one.
Oh, okay. I didn't know if that affected.
Chomper.
Yeah.
It's any attack
One.
that you make. So
Okay. A whole 1.
okay. Cool.
And then action, since it's not dead, does it look? What did fire do? Does it look like it evaporated it at all? Or
Yeah, it looked like it had an effect on the mist. It doesn't seem to have liked it. It flashed red.
all right, then I won't waste a spell slot. I'll just do firebolt on the hexed one.
All right, go for it.
The one not sharing space with defect.
16.
Okay. And go ahead and roll.
For that's the arcane firearm.
Okay.
And then that's hex.
All right. Cool. The mist seems to disperse away on the wind.
Hmm.
Great.
Good turn.
And then Greg just sees that she toasted defect a little bit. Sorry, defect. For science.
Defect calls back for science. Talk about this. We agreed on it.
I'm gonna need defect and Olive to make Constitution saving throws.
All right.
Oh dear.
21.
Olive's
Alright.
constitution is fading, apparently.
Cool. Olive,
Yeah.
You take 11 points of necrotic damage,
Yep.
and you are your hit point max is reduced by 11 as well.
Oof. That's a fat amount.
And it is Defect's turn. There is mist swirling about
Yes.
you.
Oh,
Yes.
Helicopter.
Helicopter. Again.
Uh-huh.
And I mean, he's feeling good about everything so far, so he's going to be reckless about this now.
Okay.
He feels he has a method to fighting this, so reckless. So 16
Okay.
to hit,
Sure.
15 points of damage.
Sure.
And he'll do it again.
Yeah.
22 to hit for
Uh-huh.
17 points of damage.
Yeah, so Defect swirls around with his axe, and it seems like the mist disperses.
Mike, where was all this fat damage on the hugging monsters?
Right.
That brings us to Paduk. And all of you are on deck.
yep.
What will Paduk do? Mike.
The only mist left is sitting on my head.
That's fine, right?
Mike,
Would you say you're
what is
feeling a
Paduk
little
going to do?
foggy?
A little foggy.
Paduk.
Yeah.
I forgot I was running Paduk. Paduk will. Paduk will cast Sacred Flame.
Can
the
Olive
one
duck?
that's invoking. Yeah. Does he have to do the same thing again?
Yes. Yep. Wisdom check.
Thank you.
Wisdom check from Paduk. Paduk.
We need to be stopped.
22.
With a 22, Paduk is confident he can target the mist without hurting Olive.
Awesome. Let's try it. 15.
Okay. Once again, this holy, divine flame, flies up the mist, and it flashes red a lot. It doesn't like it. Cool.
That's the end of its turn.
Olive, the mist is
Yeah.
about you.
The mist is about me, and
Helicopter.
I can helicopter with my quarterstaff again,
Okay.
or I can infest it. Those are my choices.
Infest the bugs in your square.
So I would ask the same thing of you. You would have to make a spellcasting check to target the mist about you and not yourself.
Or I can do that.
Or you could do what?
Take a step away from it.
Yeah, you can do that.
All right, let's see how it feels about poison. I'm infesting it.
This is not bad damage.
Cool. There seems to be no effect.
Oh.
Bummer. It doesn't even move 5 feet north.
No.
Yeah. Well, that's sad. I really wish I had something that could do some radiant damage or some fire damage that wasn't enormous, but I only have enormous flame.
Hey. That brings us to Adis.
Wait, Olive stepped out of the mist?
I
Yes.
stepped out of the mist.
Olive has stepped out of the mist.
Yes. Feel free to throw things at the mist without hitting me.
I guess, yeah, I'll just, pew pew.
Go for it.
Damn it! 19 for 10.
Okay. Yeah, you fire up at it.
Oh wait, I forgot sneak attack. Just in case.
Sure.
For 7.
I'm
Okay.
definitely in range. Yeah.
A 17 for 18 points of damage, maybe?
Yeah, you fire your arrow.
Maybe for 25 points? I have no idea what's happening.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. The mist seems to disperse.
Yay! Mist dispersing.
And all the red, flashy, angry mists are seemingly gone, inert.
Nice.
Cool.
And you all look around, the mist having attacked you. It's getting pretty dangerous up here. You figured out you're in like the middle, roughly the middle of the threat spires. So if there's lots of threatening things, it's probably around here.
Yeah.
Guys, I hate it here.
Me
Fair.
too, but I still need a nap if we're going to keep going. So
Nap fast.
So you settle in to begin again a new short rest. And that's where we'll pick up next week here on Nuuli Forged.
yeehaw! I'm gonna yank on my thing and.
Well done, everybody. Well done indeed. You got through, you finished a battle, you defeated a rock, and you beat up some mist. Good job. Welcome to D&D. Yeah, no, good job.
This game makes me question my sanity sometimes.
You've been firing arrows at mist for the past minute.
It is
So-
true. It is true.
honestly.
Yeah.
Next time, I'm tired of these hour short rests. So I'm gonna message Amber and have her prepare catnap for next session. So your short rest is 10 minutes.
On her
I love that.
on her next long rest, she can do that.
Yeah.
Or well, Grig, they can do that. Amber, she can do that.
Yeah.
But yeah. Good
That'd be
job.
super handy, being as I need to rest a lot if we're going to keep traveling.
Hey.
I mean, I would have had it, but I had to shoot the shit out of that rock.
Right.
So,
Cool. Well, let's go around and say our adieus for this week, and I'll figure out who we're gonna raid tonight. Let's start in reverse order. Let's start with Defect.
That's me. I'm Mike. Thank you guys for watching, and we will catch you next week for another exciting adventure of Nuuli Forged.
Hopping over to Olive.
It's me. I'm Sarah. I have been Olive. I'll do the socials. We are at Nuuli Forged on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. And also you can follow us here on Twitch and on our YouTube channel, which is also, guess what? Nuuli Forged. So like us and follow us and subscribe to our channels because we love you. Okay, thanks, bye.
That was wonderful. You're hired. And hopping
I'll
on
try
down.
to do the heart thing again and fail.
Mumbles. Moving on down to I know you're dexterous, Tanner. Moving on down to Adis.
thanks for watching, guys. I hope you hate these mountains as much as I do.
I thought they were your favorite terrain.
Not these.
Other mountains are fine. These mountains are horrible.
These mountains in particular.
Yeah, I'm about to hit rock bottom with these ones. So.
Nah.
Oh, I had
Mary
one,
said
but
that
I'm
one.
refraining because we're on public airwaves here. So
I don't want to demonetize yourself.
sure. Yes, all the big Twitch bucks we're making, we're not. Wonderful.
Because we are otherwise a family-friendly Twitch channel.
Right. G Ryan made it, everybody. G Ryan, thanks for making it and coming in.
Yay, Ryan!
Thanks for coming by. We're just saying our goodbyes. But yeah. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, G. Ryan. Thank you, I've Got It. Thank you, Zemachis Dorlet, for following us. And we're going to do a little raid on the Dungeon Scrawlers here in just a moment. Hey, if you like us, we'd love you to follow us on all the things, as Sarah said. And we would love to hear back from you on any of those platforms. And if you like my voice for some unknown reason, Matt and I have a podcast called Mid-Level Adventurers that you can check out on all podcasting platforms, including on YouTube, where this week we released our 11th episode of the podcast, which is all about feats. So if you're interested in learning and hearing our take on various feats in D&D, you can check that out at Mid-Level Adventurers. Until then, stay safe, stay healthy, be cool, be nice to people.
Bye, Mike.
And
Oh God.
yeah. Okay. Mike's just gonna leave right like that. Wow. What a mean guy. He just cut out.
How rude.
Defect reboot.
Wow. Hey, now there's two of me on the screen and it's wild.
I'm sorry, guys. Sorry.
Yeah, you should be sorry.
Discord just like flipped out on me.
All right. Well, good night, everyone. We're going to raid Dungeon Scrawlers. Have a good week, everyone. We'll see you next week. Be safe. Be kind. Goodbye.